Here we go.
What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
Richardson gonna take off and run. He's in there! Touchdown! I-N-D-Y! Outside give to Taylor. Stretching it out. He's in the 5, and he walks in untouched. Jonathan Taylor. Turner wants to do more damage, and he does.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it! Hits it!
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, everybody, live in the back nine today. It is the second annual fan golf outing, golf tournament, if you will, that's going on here, presented by Franciscan Health. Thank you all for joining us on a busy, just a glorious Thursday it is. And we've got a lot lined up for you. The normal Thursday fares, certainly with Mike Chappell talking Colts. We're now less than a week away from the start of camp up in Westfield. We'll get with Mike coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. I did want to make you aware of this because he didn't play last night. And it was weird. I wondered why he was responding to me last night. Then I saw his ass on the bench and not playing. Dylan Windler, friend of the show, played all the time with me and my guys at Perry Meridian, out of Perry Meridian High School, and was fantastic at Belmont. And not too long ago was a first-round draft selection by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Has dealt with injuries and has bounced around from Cleveland to the Knicks. I think spent some time a year ago with the Lakers and then landed and got some clock at the end of last year during the regular season for the Atlanta Hawks. And he is working now in the Summer League for the Hawks. And Dylan Windler, the Mantis, is going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour and talk a little bit about his path. So that and more coming up. I got Yacht Rock Review tickets for you, too. This reminder from yesterday, Sean McDermott, the former Butler Bulldog, was on professionally. He played in Italy. He is now going to Turkey, but he's going to be a part of that TBT, which begins tomorrow. And if you heard me at the end of the show yesterday, Mike Freeman told me from Butler that they're expecting, as of yesterday, 4,000+ for the TBT. And again, these first-round games coming up tomorrow would include Butler teams, Purdue teams, IU teams. There's a Fort Wayne team involved. And, of course, Kyle Guy of LC, the former Mr. Basketball and national champion, has a team involved. They will play Butler coming up tomorrow. That is the team in the TBT called Fail Harder. So that reminder of the interview yesterday and the TBT coming up tomorrow. That is, again, at Butler at Hinkle Fieldhouse for you. But, no, what a great day today. I want to thank everybody involved with this event. It has been spectacular. My man Danny Hayes and everybody here at the back nine just always coming up big for us. And all of our listeners, just fantastic listeners coming out today. It has been great. I do want to get started. I'm going to go ahead. I hope Swebo doesn't get mad. I'm going to go ahead and introduce those on camera and those
please go ahead.
Much more awesome than us right here.
Go ahead.
Inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. If you're watching right now, you recognize from Channel 13 Gina Glaros and Lindsay Monroe. Ladies, how are you?
Hi.
Doing wonderful.
Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having
Well,
us,
you
as
know,
always.
you have become staples of this show, staples in the summertime.
Oh,
so what is this doing to your career now? I mean, do you see your career?
It's a different audience.
It is.
And it's
Yes, it
something
is.
that I have not done before radio. It's a different beast
Yeah,
at
no.
first, and I feel like we're kind of coming out of our shell.
I'm getting like DMs on the Twitter
The
from
Twitter.
people people like
Twitter.
crawling out of the woodwork from my past, like, hey, you hang out with JMV, right? Hey, can you help me out with some tickets to this and all
Well,
this stuff? And I'm like, look,
Yes.
And that's
look.
how all this started, right? Because your fiance wanted to meet JMV
Yes.
at Carb
his biggest
Day.
fan.
That is all. Yet he's not here today.
Well, he has to work, someone has to pay bills.
Somebody has to
It's
pay
not
the
me.
bills. So, well, and you've been on since Carb Day, and I
Yeah.
thought that went over so fantastically that you guys have to become a staple.
Oh,
so
you're
I'm glad to see that you're getting now the whole DM thing. Are we okay with that?
It's very professional.
I'm sure it is very professional. There's no doubt about
I'm sure
that.
you get it a lot, too.
The moment they're
sir.
calling me like a horse's ass or something like that. So, yeah, it's a little bit different.
Do you get more? Okay.
I don't get people saying, you are so great.
Or women, do you?
Well, I mean, what do you
I can't imagine very many
Wait, can
women.
I interject for a second? What do you think? Do
I
you
haven't
think he
even
gets
introduced your
more
ass
men
yet.
or more women in his DM?
Why do you think we're on this show, Gina?
In case you guys didn't know here, and our listeners out there, he is the morning co-host. That's the wake-up call with KB and Andy. That is Andy Sweeney. We affectionately call him Sweebo. Sweebo is here with us today to
I'm
kick
from
off
Southern
the show.
Indiana. He makes fun of me that we don't
He's
have
from
running
Northern
toilets
Kentucky.
and water, down there. in
Northern
Southern
Kentucky.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Yes, you as well.
I listen to you every morning. when
well, thank you
I try
very
to
much.
leave work by 9:30 so I can catch the last 30 minutes.
Well, there you go.
And see if I could do the pop quiz. And I'm always like, I was so confident going into this, and I am so not good at
I
anything.
bet you're better than
I've
some of the
learned so
clowns
many
that do that
things.
with them, though. Some of those guys don't
There's
know a
some I
damn
do.
thing about nothing.
They don't know anything.
Why do they even make the call?
Do you ever say, like, why'd you call in?
Well, I mean, that happens, but sometimes it's also 1920s baseball where it's like, you
I'm
understand
not
if you don't know something from the 1930s. Like, it's okay.
All right,
hockey, the hockey
Sweebo,
questions.
we got any questions for? I'm not going to officially start the show.
Okay.
I want to introduce you guys. You haven't been on in a while. What'd you think about what took place here today? Did you have a good time?
Oh, this is awesome. If you remember, it was a couple weeks later last year. It was my first week.
It was.
It was my first week, so I was on with you. It was a lot of fun. I remember signing our guy Derek White. I signed his PBR bottle. If you remember, this was my first autograph in Indianapolis, which was fantastic. But it's a few weeks earlier, so I'm about a year here. I mean, we're getting close to an anniversary. I mean, that's what we're doing here, JMV.
And again, the ladies, you've been listening to the ladies, they fit right in, don't they? They love it because they can cut loose. You like to cut loose.
And I don't get to talk about sports. I feel like whenever I start going into sports stuff on the show, Julia Moffat looks at me and her eyes start to like roll back in her head. She's like, what are we talking about? So if this is like open forum, I get to actually talk
So why
about
did you
fun
guys
stuff.
pick JMV? That would be my question.
Why not?
Or did he pick
Why-
you? Or
Yes.
how did this happen? How did this radio relationship
Tell them all about
happen?
it, ladies.
I think it was just meant to be one of those
It was.
relationships that you really can't control. You just meet and you're like, you know what? We were meant to be friends.
It's wow. Me and JMV both have heard that a lot.
I know it. That's kind
Friends,
of like.
mate. That's exactly what I
That's
mean.
kind of like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to call this. This is what happened to me all the time in junior high. Hey, I like your best friend. This is the girl that calls me. Could you talk to him for me about how you know that I like her?
boy.
I was always the in-between. Always.
You're the middleman.
I was the friend that set up my friend.
Well, everyone needs one of those, but I don't see you as being that. I see you as being more the leader in all of this. No, it's funny. You all will like this. So a lot of listeners are like, how'd you get into sports talk radio? And it's like, well, in college, so I went to college 2002 to 2006. I was like, I really wanted to be in TV. And then I realized I look like I look. And I was like, now I got to be in sports radio.
There's another platform for people like
maybe TV is not for the balding sports guy, you know?
I did 3 years of TV, but I wore the same suit for 3 years.
But look at your hair, though. I'm sure the hair was great.
Glorious.
Yeah.
You'll never bald.
Well, there's going to be a reason for that. I make sure. Hey, I've said this. I'm going to have all new parts by the time I'm 60. Like from head to toe, all new parts.
It's like
all new,
I'm
all
walking
new
away.
ACLs and all new knees and everything else.
I have replaced 35% of what used to be my own body.
Really?
My original body. Oh, yeah.
35.
Like, I'm kind of like when they find, like in a television show, when they redo a car, they'll find like a 1971 Plymouth in some old guy's barn. And I'm what goes to Meekum. When they find it and they do it all, that's going to be me when I'm 60. All new parts from head to toe.
That's
it just depends on what part I'm working on. So we've done hair. We're going to do some eyes here pretty soon. Make sure
It's
my
an art-
vision is 20/20
an art
again.
form.
Right? Yeah.
I'm trying to think if JMV had a different haircut, what would it be? Because, obviously I knew
Mullet.
JMV before
I
I
was
moved
gonna
here.
say that.
What
Mullet.
would be his hair besides the,
Like
the
a
look
rat
he's
tail?
got now?
I
What about
grew
a
it.
rat tail?
I would. Yeah. Like James back at the station has a man bun, and I hate it.
No,
I like
that's
James.
too
Wait,
Right.
weird.
James has a man bun now? He
James-
wears a man bun in the mosh
James,
pit.
is that a man bun you have back there? That's what it is, right?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah, it's a man bun. I like it better than when it was a hat.
What's the
Okay,
essentially?
then
That's kind of a yes or no. Is it a man bun or is it not a man bun?
It's definitely a man bun right there. So, yeah, all new parts by the time I'm 60. You think I can do it? I think I can do it.
Everything?
The one thing I've declined is like I didn't do knee replacement once because I didn't think I was totally going to be into it. So I haven't done the knee replacement.
Oh, I feel like if anything, a knee replacement is kind of important.
Yeah.
Right?
You need those.
Yeah,
You need
but
those.
I would have half-assed the whole rehab of it, and I thought, man,
Yeah.
because I think the guy told me, he said, listen, when we do this, great guy, when we do this, it's not going to improve your vertical. He goes, you'll feel better, but it's not going to. I go, okay, well, if it's not going to improve my vertical, then what the hell
What's the
am I doing
use?
this for?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
not worried about that
Are
whatsoever.
you like 20 years away from the hip being replaced? Are you like a countdown in
No,
your mind?
I'm probably more. I would have to think wherever I go and play. I always say, you guys make sure you have paddles back there because I may end up passing out here, and I don't want any one of you clowns giving me mouth to mouth. All right, so have the paddles ready just in case and rub them. No, seriously, I just like to have some fun, man, and I'm going to continue to have fun like I'm 15 years old
For
until
sure.
we're no longer here, and that's what the ladies, Sweebo, are taking advantage of right
Well,
here.
good.
Having a great time on the radio.
It's
We
an
are.
honor to be here.
You
To
know,
be invited
honestly,
back.
Yes, so many times
Each
right
week.
there.
I feel like age, now that I'm in my mid-30s, which, obviously is not that old, but it's like, I feel like with age, you act and you do your activities as if you are like at whatever capacity you have, and age is just like a number. Like, it's not relevant.
Yeah.
If you go out and you still have fun and you're still like living life and everything's great, like you might as well be whatever age you want to be.
And you know what the great part about it is? The older you get, the less BS you're going to put up
Exactly.
with. And that's it. I mean, you're willing to accept it right in your 20s. It's just part of it. But when you get older like us, you go, you know what? I'm not messing around with this whatsoever anymore. So that is
sure.
part of a
Can I
rite of
kick
passage.
back on that for a second?
Yeah, why don't you?
I was with you until very recently.
You were?
So on Monday,
Yeah.
I turned 40 years old on Monday.
Happy
I heard your
birthday.
40s
For the
are your
last
best
couple
years.
years, I have been the stereotypical guy that has felt my body breaking down. My body, my metabolism. I used to be
You
got
got
to
to get some new
beers all
stuff.
the time.
Get some new parts.
That's
why they have
that's what I need to
AutoZone
do.
and
That's what I
Peptides and all that.
vitamins.
To get new parts. Get new parts.
You know
all
what
I need.
also happened to you recently? You had a child.
Yeah, I have a 10-month-old
So
at
that
home as well.
is
So
probably what's
Yeah.
the cause.
Life's
of,
a little bit different
That
the last 10
changes
months or
things
so.
a lot quicker. Yeah.
All right. Hey, what do we think about the Fever last night? Let's get into a sports topic
you want
here.
me to go first on this?
Yeah, it's, by the way, Sweebo, Andy Sweeney,
Yeah.
Gina Galeros, and Lindsay
I'm
Monroe,
off
Channel
camera for the
13,
YouTube people.
with us right here. We're keeping on camera what needs to be
Yeah,
on
you
camera
want me
right
far
here.
away from
this
the
is like
YouTube stream.
Three's Company right here. I'm Jack Tripper.
It's the easiest decision you've ever made in your radio career.
Yeah, watch inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. I'm Jack Tripper right here with Three's Company.
You know what's funny?
Great show, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Bowen, he did this like 5 times with the Pacers. He's done it with the Fever. In the morning, he's like, this is an easy game, type of thing. Like, they need to win. We need to win this game. And I feel like we're putting some sort of curse on the team when we say that, because we did that rhetoric yesterday, and lo and behold, the Fever 4 or 5 point favorites, whatever it was, and that was a very much sometimes in sports it's like pass or fail. You just need to win. And you get a month off, and that was like, hey, just go win. So you combine last night with the Mystic game that was the day game, if you all remember, on Wednesday. Those are 2 bad teams that you're way better than, that you're favored about, you're favored on. You win those 2 games, you're not 11-15, you're 13-13. And so, to a certain extent, the Fever saving their season. If the playoffs were to start today, they'd be a 7 seed, and there's a lot of good with that. And a best of 3 series, you win game 1, you can scare somebody. Caitlin Clark, obviously, Aaliyah Boston. But I thought last night was one of the few unacceptable games. They played bad defense, and they could score. You can't allow 100-some points in a 40-minute basketball game, and that's what they did last night.
Well, and then turn it over 1,000 times, and that's been besides the lack of defense.
And Caitlin Clark had the game. She's the talk right now, basketball, really the last 24 hours, having the 19 assists and everything else. But I really thought last night was one of the few games they had, JMV, that was unacceptable. That, hey, you got to be better. You got to go. And I say you go on the road. Most of the people there are Caitlin Clark and or Indiana Fever fans. when they go on the road, I mean, it's a huge, they score, it's a huge cheer. So I was actually really disappointed last night. That's just a game you got to win. If you win by one, you move on, and we feel a lot better today than we did yesterday.
So the Fever lose last night. Now they're going to go on hiatus, All-Star, and then the Olympic break. What you guys think? Starting with you, Lindsay, on the end.
I kind of got vibes whenever the Colts go play Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt.
Where everybody gets kind of hyped and then they let you down.
And it's like, this is an easy win. It's Jacksonville. Right. And then it's like, what happened? It just fell apart. So I kind of got vibes like that. But however, I mean, if you look at the progression of how the season is going, it's like, okay, I don't want to give any up. But if we have to, it's like, okay at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like a couple weeks ago, it was unacceptable at any point. It's like, we have to start winning. So, maybe giving up one here or there, as long as the team overall is starting to play more cohesively, it's still working its way in the right direction, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely needed a feather in their cap, and they got it. But I think that now coming on this break, they needed to finish strong.
No doubt.
And they did not. But on the other side of that, they have this time to think about everything and rest and relive that game and, know what they don't want to do again.
I think about it this way too, Swebo, in terms of last night. They have two really good wins here recently, but those are both taken away by two really bad losses. And that's what you were talking about with the Mystics. That's what we saw last night with the Wings and Dallas. It almost like you erase that goodwill and the whole stair-stepping process to getting better when you blow games like that. And for the most part, when you do it yourself, with a lack of defense and with the turnovers, you just can't have it. We've seen them. They have enough to be competitive and playoff competitive. But those two games, those will come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're teams that are at the back end of a playoff race often have similar DNA that the Fever have. I mean, you guys have seen that, the Pacers, the natural progression of a team that, you don't jump from, you usually don't jump from 20 wins to 50 wins or whatever it may be. I mean, that happens very often. I think that's where the Fever are. And so there are going to be games where inherently we're disappointed. It's like, hey, why didn't you play better in that game? That's just who they are. They are a building team that is, we need to remember, the last 2 seasons, they've had the number 1 pick. There's a reason you're drafting that high in the draft. But I think, JMV, you're right. I mean, they controlled last night. They could have played better defense. And, of course, Dallas comes down and they hit 2 or 3 big shots down the stretch that are kind of BS shots. But when you give them the opportunity to be close to you, that's where you are. And so I doubt that's going to sit well with them for the last month. But like I said, I mean, you get into the playoffs and you give – 2 or 3 stars kind of that the Fever are working with. I'd say the bigger story, and I'm wondering nationally, I've seen a little bit today. We go off the air, Greeny, who wasn't there today, but Greeny's replacements were talking about this is, Caitlin Clark's not in the three-point contest coming up for All-Star
Yeah, that's
weekend.
a huge disappointment.
Yeah, neither is Sabrina Iesco. And both of those, remember, she went against Steph Curry here in Indianapolis.
That, to me, is probably their decision, right? And
it has to be their decision. We had Lynn Dunn on. She made it sound like, okay, it was their decision, but that's
Can I say something, too?
You can say whatever you want.
I know this is a big – don't you have to do it? I mean, if you're
I totally agree.
Don't you have to do it?
Well, not only
you can't be. Well, you know what? You're going to get all that long rest.
I agree.
Get your ass in it and do it.
I thought Ellie Dela Cruz should have done the home run contest.
Dude, don't even get me started on that.
I know how you feel on that. And you look at the NBA. Not to totally compare it to the WNBA, but we've seen Trae Young, Karl Anthony Towns, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Donovan Mitchell. I'm sure I'm missing a few. The stars, top 15, top 10 players in the game have been in the three-point contest on the NBA side. I think I'm just a little bit disappointed.
Just get in there and shoot it. Just get in there and shoot for a little bit and be done.
I'm disappointed she's not a part of it.
Yep. All right, ladies, what do you think about the Fever season so far? And were you paying attention like this regarding the Fever this time last year?
Sure was not.
No, I didn't even know they were playing last year. Seriously, wait, what? Who?
I tell you, we were not fighting for the rights to air the games.
No, and
That's
now,
for sure.
now you are on Channel 13. You guys
have
have
a
them.
sign at the entrance outside of our building.
Yeah, it's
got,
plastered everywhere.
Networks like Ion taking these away from you on a Friday night too, don't you?
I know. Well, next year, I mean, looking at the new TV deal that's going to go into effect.
Yeah.
Look at all the money that they got from one year to the
Yeah.
next. I mean, that's a astronomical increase that the WNBA is negotiating with. Well, NBC is a part of it as well, going forward as well. So just how quickly that has climbed, it's so impressive. And I hope it does something for the players as well, just kind of instills that things are changing. People care, people are going to watch, and the ratings prove it. They just keep going up.
Yeah, I think obviously there was, so much anticipation. And then when they started off so poorly, we were like, uh-oh. But they came back. They came back. They're a young team, and, Clayton obviously can't hold everything on her back. There's a lot of pressure on her.
They saved their season.
Yes, they did.
It was in bad shape.
Yes, they did. So I think I'm looking forward to what they're going to be able to do.
It is amazing the impact that she has had. I think a lot of people knew it was going to be substantial. I don't think anybody knew that it was going to be the level that it is right now. It has absolutely, it's devoured everybody. Everybody from the non-sports fan to the middle of the road to the hardcore sports fan, it has devoured everybody. Now, my question is, does this last? Does it have legs to last? Like, what is this new deal with the WNBA? The rights fee is like 11 years. Is there 11 years even past her career when her career is on the very tail end? Does this all last?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to say overly skeptical, but I was skeptical if it would be this, and it has been this. Listen, you all know it's revitalized the Fever franchise. You talk about 4,000 people in attendance to now 16,000, 17,000 in attendance.
League.
And you know what's funny as well? We can't use with the Fever the excuse, well, you went in, the Colts, you can do this. Well, you mentioned Jacksonville. Well, you went on the road, even though Jacksonville's not a tough place to play. You went on the road to Pittsburgh, or week 2 this year, the Colts go to Green Bay. Well, you went to Green Bay. When the Fever go on the road, they have all the fans.
Yeah.
They have all the fans.
Right.
It feels like a home game. And the Minnesota coach, is it Cheryl Reeve?
Yeah.
She hated it.
Yeah.
She don't want to talk about it. And I understand it, but she has to kind of take it a little bit.
She's coaching the Olympic team.
Well,
too,
understandable, just because I'm sure, there's several thousand people there more, to see that game. Will it last? I tend to think it has staying power. Does it have 16,000, 17,000 a night? We'll see. But it's got staying power at least for the next several years.
Do you think that they should, like Cheryl Reeve, for example, should be more appreciative of the Caitlin Clark effect?
I do.
Yes.
Because
or the other players,
because they'd
for
be
that
playing
matter.
in somebody's garage if she wasn't there.
No,
seriously. Nobody cares.
There is a sense, and it's difficult to talk about because it's not in totality. But don't you feel like there is a sense of there's people that are frustrated that maybe it's not them, or that, hey, we've been in this league for 5 years or 10 years or 15.
Haters are gonna hate.
And
have you ladies ever been jealous about something? I'm just joking.
We're girls. We get jealous.
Yeah.
Tell the stories. We want to hear your girl jealousy stories.
Well, there's no one
Things
more
have to
jealous usually than sports
private.
radio hosts. Usually that's usually that's at the top of the list.
Yeah, nobody's more sensitive than the tough-ass sports radio talk show host here.
But you did
Nobody.
know. You knew it was going to be inevitable. You hoped that it wasn't, but that she was going to have haters, people in the league who've been in the league, and all of a sudden you have somebody brand new who's stealing the show, rightfully so. And I'll be careful here, but it's a little infuriating seeing girls try to knock her down a peg, and it's like, are you serious?
See,
right
JMV,
now?
the beauty is that's for them to figure out, not me and you.
I love it.
Me and you are good to go.
Man,
Just talk amongst yourselves here. Please.
I am so excited, though, to see this rivalry come together as one team with Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark playing together coming up. This has got to be the first time they've played as teammates, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost more excited to see them come together as one unit.
Sure.
And get that rivalry going. And
Are you more excited about seeing that or watching the women play in the Olympics? Because that's a foregone conclusion. They're going to roll up everybody, right?
Yeah.
So
I think I'm more excited for the All-Star game than probably the Olympics.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot more games with the Olympics, obviously. But to see that dynamic, there's no reason maybe the Olympic team could lose, and that would be interesting. That'd be real interesting.
Sweebo, what are you and not you and Kevin in the morning, you and James. Why don't you just do that thing by yourself? Why do you have to have somebody?
I don't
you did
know.
it by yourself down in Northern Kentucky for how many years?
I just get an email.
Do they have electricity where you worked?
They do. They do. We have to turn a car on out back, and we run a wire to a barn, and then we're good to go.
Nice, man.
Then we're good to go. But yeah, me and James Boyd will be in, and we'll talk a lot of Colts. Obviously, Doug Bowles will join us.
Doug
Brickyard,
Bowles, yes,
coming up this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of people care. Yeah. I did have Joey Logano on. He was awesome last Thursday.
Was he good?
Yeah, I think he just flew in quickly and he called on his way to Bottle Works.
Is that what he did? And then flew back out?
Yeah, really good. I would say this. They used to promote it. It was so promoted, so well done. Back when Dodge was an engine manufacturer, they had Dodge on the circle. They had Ford Fan Fest going on. You got to go out and meet all the drivers. And these were the legendary drivers. Not the guys of the new era right now, but
sure.
I mean, hell. You got to really search to find any of these guys that are availability now.
It's my first year. The difference, obviously, between the Indy 500 and the Brickyard is substantial.
Yes.
You all know that being
Just
in
the
the media.
anticipation leading up to it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it is substantial. Should be a fun race, but it's not the same. It's definitely not the same what we went through in May.
Sweebo, good to see you.
All right, brother. We'll see
That's
you.
Andy Sweeney right there, ladies. What do you guys think?
Great to meet
too.
you.
Somebody wants to know if you got Crocs on today. Did you wear those stinky Crocs?
I did not wear the Crocs. Don't hate on the Crocs. The Crocs are rather fashionable.
You always
now.
wear a hat and you wear Crocs.
Thank you. Well,
There's nothing too manly about
like
that.
6:30.
They're so
we gotta-
easy to clean.
We got to man
Brian
you up a
Brady
little
said
bit.
about 6:30 in the morning.
But they
I'm wearing 4-inch heels at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But again, you're on TV. I'm on radio.
Oh, that's true.
Feet and Crocs don't mix the scent. There's nothing good about that.
I've never worn
sense
Crocs.
They are comfortable.
I
You have to wear
sense
Dr.
they're
Scholl's in there?
They're not anti-Crocs. I can tell. Are you anti-Crocs?
They're not cute, but
Okay.
I understand
She's-
they're comfortable for people
She's like
with
the shoe.
arthritis.
She's the shoe
Okay,
queen
so
around here.
Crocs, fun story. They're my ice cream making shoes. When I
Okay,
make
there you
ice
go.
cream, I get it all. When I used to, my parents are in the business growing up, and I would wear those because I get ice cream all over me. All I have to do, go home, spray them down like new.
Yeah. Well, see, I have like camo ones and different ones like that. Again, I'm in there when I see no other employee on the Fan or IBC or anybody else. So no.
What are those like inserts?
Yeah,
are those
you
still
have
cool?
The Dr. Scholl's insert?
No,
No,
like the charms
they're like
that
the
you see.
Oh,
charms.
the charms. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm not 15.
Well,
I'm not 15 years
Lady,
old.
my daughter
used
wears
to.
them. My daughter has the Pac-Man characters all over her.
see?
Yes.
That's like half of the fun
But
of
you know what,
Crocs.
though? When my daughter comes in the house, she'll kick him off, and the cat, Zeke, will rub all over him because they smell so bad. Seriously.
How bad does James want you to take a break right now? He's at like DEFCON 10 right now.
Whatever.
Is he not?
He's all right.
Yeah, him and his
when the
family.
conversation's
We're relaxed
over,
on
we
this
go to
show.
break around here. All right, that's what happens. James understands that. Sweebo, good to see you tomorrow morning.
All right, see you guys.
You and James Boyd. That's Andy Sweeney right there. We are in the bar right here. In the bar. And my kid's in the bar. I'm not supposed to be cool. Hey, we're in the bar right here. We're at Back 9. I'm going to tell you how you can still bid on a lot of what there is to bid on. I should have lobbed this to Sweeney as well. CJ Stroud, the 5-headed monster offensively down in Houston.
Okay,
Dig, Schultz, Dell, Collins, Mixon. He's not wrong.
Texans are either going to be really, really good or a team that doesn't have it the second year.
He's going to be really
It's going to be
good.
one or
I think
the
they'll
other.
be
It's going to be
good.
very hot or very cold.
And he's not wrong about that, though.
I agree.
All right, ladies, coming back next.
Absolutely.
Gina, Lindsay, John. We've got Dylan Windler coming up from the Atlanta Hawks at the top of the hour. Mike Chappell on the 5 o'clock hour. Live at the Back 9 on a glorious Thursday. Thank you all for joining us. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, the stream, the app, HD Radio. And we've got Three's Company right here if you're watching. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
David Letterman.
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
That my mic's not on. All right, boys. All right. Hey, if that happens again, you're going to get your ass whipped. Second, we got new engineer, and I'm just being a jerk. I'm sorry. Second annual golf outings going on at the back nine, too. You can still get your bids in as well. I'm going to share how you can do that with you momentarily. And yeah, you're right. Once I figure out how to share it, I am going to share it with you. But they have great items. I want to give a shout out because you know he's a big time friend of the show. But Brad Stevens, actually, Kyle Knezovich, oh, thank you, Lindsay. Kyle Knezovich sent him a text and said, hey, would you mind, sending us something for our charity outing for Franciscan Health? And he got right back with him and sent a basketball that he signed from the Celtics organization. So thank you, Brad. And we got stuff. You can check it out. I just actually shared that with you on X. Check that out. And there's still time to bid on stuff if you want to as well for our golf outing. Part of the golf outing, our friends from the shop are here. BK,
What's
Brian
up?
Kelly.
How you doing, man?
How you doing? Look at Alex. I didn't recognize you with your beard. I didn't know that was you. Seriously.
Really?
I was getting ready to ask Brian, who's this?
I haven't shaved my face clean since.
Yeah. Is it the angle
like
I'm looking
12
at?
Years, man. I'm too fat to have a clean shaven
It looks
face.
hairier. Your face looks a lot hairier than usual.
I don't know.
Hey, look, I got a little. You see this stuff?
I like it. Yeah.
Do I look distinguished?
You think so?
Make it more aerodynamic on the court.
Oh yeah. I just kind of like in the summertime. I like to sit by the pool and get big time tanned, and then I let a little bit of stubble grow right here. Because I got in my mind, I picture like Don Johnson from Miami Vice in the 80s.
I got that 5 o'clock shot. You need the bleed.
I don't think my wife has ever seen me without a beard. I think she's.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think so.
But don't you think his beard's a little hairier than usual right there? That's a hairy.
I see him every day, so it's very
know.
normal, yeah.
How many? It's Alex and Brian from the shop. Again, Broad Ripple, Carmel, Mass Ave, downtown.
Yep.
And their warehouse. How many people do you have working?
I mean,
employed full-time?
Today we brought, we had 12 here today?
Yeah.
12 or 13, something like that.
Sticking amazing.
Yeah. And then we got part-time people, the Indy 11 crew too, so. Yeah.
Man, that is amazing considering I think Alex used to just do iron-ons in somebody's garage, didn't he, back in the day?
That's how it started in the garage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, wild. I mean, we got a facility where our roof doesn't leak now. The toilets work.
Yeah,
The toilets work.
Good.
We've come a long way.
We got a kitchen. We're good.
So how long have you guys been at it?
I mean, separately, me since 2011, you since...
I started farting around in 07.
Yeah.
Screen my garage, but
There's
we
zero
opened the
way you
first
thought
store
this
in
was going
15.
to grow into what it has.
Yeah, I never knew. I didn't think it was going to be a full-time thing, for sure. I don't know about you, but
yeah, you get kind of lucky along the way. You got to take advantage of opportunities. And, I had enough fun doing it that eventually started having kids, and I had to get rid of one of my full-time jobs. So I said, let's go for it. My wife was very supportive.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it went. Indy's a great place to start a business, I think, because people here in this area care about people in this area.
And you want to see that all grow like that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny. I'm glad you guys mentioned that in terms of business because I feel the same way about radio. People always think, well, you know what you want to do? You want to kick the ass of your competitors. Or no, you don't. You want everybody to do well.
Yeah.
You want everybody. Like when I hear about, for example, other stations, and this is just for me, who will undersell the product for their benefit, but what they do is they end up screwing everybody over because then that decreases the value of radio.
Yeah.
And that's not what you want. And that's the same for you guys. You want everything to grow. You want everything to prosper like that. And that's something you guys have done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even especially where our stores are located, at Broad Ripple's, our building's going over a redo, so we want shopping in that building.
Yes.
So people are coming out, not just for us, we want shopping everywhere. So it just makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Alex and Brian, again, the shop here, a part of our Back Nine golf outing presented by Franciscan Health. Fellas, you've got some new product on hand here. Some new rights fees?
We do. I mean, we just got Ohio State licensing, so that's a personal thing for me. I know they're not local, but it's more of a personal
What do you think about
deal
that,
for me.
Purdue?
Yeah.
Mr. Purdue is Alex.
Same as IU. I'll take their money. Whatever.
Yeah.
So how many collegiate teams do you have now?
It's not that many. Maybe 8, 9, something like that.
No,
yeah.
You don't have Indiana State yet?
We have Indiana State.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
yeah, you gave me all that gear. I'm sorry, you gave me all that gear.
Yeah,
I'm
all
sorry.
the time. All the time.
I'm kind of stupid.
Yeah. We had a great March in April with Indiana State.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Great.
And then after that finally, it's amazing. Indiana State, you lose a 7-point lead in the final minute and a half. You lose the game to Seton Hall. You lose the NIT title, and then the next day, your coach is gone and your team is gone, and everything is
and that
done.
6 wins next year is not going to help us.
Oh man! Shout out to Matt Graves. I love you.
Oh, yeah,
I love you, Matt.
Well. That was a good hire,
Matt,
for sure.
Matt has a job on his hands, and man, that's just the world of college athletics now, especially for the mid-major, because as soon as your guys look good like that, they're going to get poached, and you're going to have to start from scratch. So, way that it is. So, Ohio State's your personal favorite, right?
Ohio State, yeah. My dad's from Ohio, so I grew up rooting for whoever he rooted for.
Yeah.
He went to Butler and never left Indianapolis, so I rooted for Ohio State. I rooted for Cleveland Indians, now the Guardians, and that's just kind of who I rooted for. So,
but not the Browns.
He was a Browns fan, but for some reason the Colts stuck for me. For some reason,
Yeah, the Browns. That'd be bad.
Yeah.
All right, give me some locations and sales that you have going on here. What do you got?
So we got Broad Ripple, Carmel, downtown now, right across from Bottle Works.
Man, that place is going to go.
Yeah, our horseshoe collection, that's coming out. We got new college stuff coming out in the next 2 weeks, so we're ramping up for all the fall stuff. And then we got the Indy 11 we got a home game this Saturday.
Hey, the vintage never gets old was Brian. That was his thought. We talked about that, Alex, a little bit earlier. So you know that vintage works around here, right? Is there anything? Because we always like to brainstorm about stuff that could be.
We don't have anything coming out. We always get ideas for sure. It's kind of hard. You mention a place.
Have you done Ike and Jonesy's? Have we talked about that?
We got that, yeah.
Have you done Quincy's at the Adams Mark?
Do not have Quincy's.
With the peppermint twist? Did the peppermint twist?
Quincy's, was that the one out by the airport?
Yeah, it was the one where I had John Cusack on the show, and he was in 8 Men Out, and they were filming 8 Men Out, and he said he and Charlie Sheen and D.B. Sweeney. No, not D.B. Sweeney. Who am I thinking? I forget who I'm thinking of right now. D.B. Sweeney was the film he was in. But anyway, those two in particular went to Quincy's and picked up chicks back in 1988.
I think I did finally find a Bloomington, was it Hooligans? Is that right?
Hooligans!
I finally found a logo I can use, and I'm going to try to do that.
Dude, that's awesome.
But yeah, I think all the other ones we pretty much, we've done a lot.
And you did McCree's Deli.
We did McCree's,
Go ahead and, Hooligans is awesome.
Yeah, I think I finally found a logo that'll work. So, yeah.
Good for you. You got any ideas over there, Alex? Any more Purdue stuff? You're a West Lafayette dude.
What's that?
You're a West Lafayette
Harry's
guy.
every 3 months, and they say, no, but I'm going to keep bugging them until they let me do a Harry's shirt.
Yeah. What kind of old school stuff is up there that you could run?
Well, if you go up there now, I'm actually going up there tomorrow. There's like nothing left. Jake's is closed. Where else is there? But you don't want to go there. Boiler Room's been gone forever. The original Pete's, they tore that down to build a library, and it tried to come back.
We got enough libraries, don't we? Keep the bars.
The bar scene outside of Harry's, the bar scene up there, it's kind of, they don't have the cool old places, like the Ballyhoo or like the original Kilroy's.
I haven't read a book since 1984.
No. There's no need. There's no need. You don't need that.
So.
That was Then, This Is Now. It was a really good book, and then I saw the film. So, yeah, that was the S.E. Hinton. S.E. Hinton. Yeah. Big S.E. Hinton fan. Is Shoney's, does somebody have a copyright for Shoney's? Could you do that?
Because I think there are still Shoney's that exist. So
Are there?
We haven't tried to get it.
In the South?
Same with Rax. Like, Rax still exists. So we haven't tried to get it.
See, you guys you're making money hand over fist right now, right? So why don't you help me out? Why don't we get a Rax? Rax would make money.
Open a Rax, yeah.
I mean, people love it around here.
Yeah. I think, didn't all the Rax turn into, like, Fazoli's? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
all the out front windows.
They've still got all the great. We'd have to rename BBC or something like that, probably, right? But I mean, still, it would be great, and I think that place would make. Every time I bring it up, people go crazy over it, and it's just a stinking roast beef sandwich, but people love it.
I know.
So, All right.
Oh, it's the salad bar, too.
Huh?
It's the salad bar,
No, the salad
too.
bar. Exactly.
Yeah, it's both.
And they got the kind of greenhouse in the salad bar.
Yeah.
That's Lindsay Monroe right there. We met
Yeah, I'm
Lindsay a
back.
little
Sorry,
bit
we
earlier.
were a little delayed. We got caught up talking to some fans.
But Hooligans, that was
Hooligans,
my place.
yeah, I'm gonna have to
that was
work
my
on
first
that,
place when I was 21.
Yep. I'll get it out by the fall. But
I saw the head coach of Marion barf in there on his 21st birthday like you'd never seen. He clogged up the he clogged up the trough in there.
Oh
they have a
my
trough
gosh.
for the men. Oh, he clogged it up.
Crazy.
It was a great night there.
Nice.
All right, give everybody your deals and stuff you got going
like we said, Broad Ripple Carmel, downtown, shopindy.com. We're at the Indy 11 games doing all the merch.
The Indy 11 games Saturday.
Yeah.
Christmas in July. It's going to actually be nice weather finally.
We got a bunch of sales at the
Weather
game.
finally
And
broke.
yeah.
So-
It's going to be a good game Saturday.
What's the weather normally like, Alex?
I mean, it's been, 90 degrees, 85
That's
degrees.
summertime. That's when you got to go shirtless. But that doesn't benefit your business,
I have
though.
the beard.
It doesn't. People don't want to sit there and yeah.
Can you make a shirt that looks like we're ooh
There we go.
half shirts? Bring them back.
Crop tops.
Can you bring back half shirts?
We sell some women's crop tops. Yeah.
Can you bring
we sell women's crop
CD?
tops?
Thank you guys for coming,
No,
guys.
men's crop tops.
Men's crop tops. All right.
That's awesome.
No, men's have to call it half shirts,
No,
apparently.
remember we
Women
wore
crop
them
tops.
hot.
Yeah, like
Can you-
Revenge of the
Can you make
Nerds,
a
Ogre wearing them.
make a
Matthew
half shirt that says
McConaughey.
"cool dude" on it for me? Like cool dude.
Yeah. Spring break 95.
Mesh half shirts.
Yeah, there you go.
Where you can see
Mesh.
your neck
That's
show
what- yeah,
through.
that's it. Yeah.
Like the Boz.
A mesh.
Yes. See? You guys are on top of that
Yeah,
right there.
we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, man.
And any sales coming up? You want people to know
Do
about?
we have any sales anytime? We got Christmas in July next week, which is one of our bigger sales during the year. So hop on July 25th. Everything's going to be deep discounted on the website, in stores, all that stuff. So.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thank you for being a part of this
Yeah,
today.
no problem.
Thank you, John. Thanks
It's
as
Brian.
always.
Yep.
Alex,
Thank you.
the shop, our friends right there where vintage never gets old at the back nine. That Hooligans idea is absolutely spectacular right there. What any old school places you would like to have? Ladies return, both Gina and Lindsay right now. Any old school places?
Discovery Zone.
Discovery Zone for you?
You
The
remember
Foolery in Carmel.
What was
The
the
Foolery, all like baseball, baseball cards.
Really?
When Michael Jordan retired, my mom took my brother and me down there. We bought out the whole store. Now it's an olive oil shop, which I also love. But
It's
the
an olive
Foolery-
oil? Wait a minute.
Shop.
It specializes in olive oil.
Yeah, all different Carmel.
Not the
Florida.
character, but okay.
Olive oil, all different types of olive oil. You'd be surprised.
I always
You-
thought
you
there was one.
Walk in and you're like, wow, there's so many different types.
There's different
Chocolate.
variations of olive.
Oh yeah,
No idea. You learn something new every olive oil.
And which one? Which store did you say you wanted?
What, a Discovery Zone. Remember DZ,
Yeah.
where kids want to be?
Yeah.
That was my absolute, growing up in a small town,
Yeah.
there's nothing to do outside, like, terrorize your siblings.
should
They would
ask-
take all the kids to the DZ. It was over on Washington Street.
Aladdin's Castle was an arcade. That was up here too, but also in Bloomington. Spaceport was in Bloomington. See, I'm a little more Bloomington lean, so I kind of remember all those places. But it's funny about Rax. You guys remember Rax?
I loved Rax.
There's still one in Ohio, I believe, right? A couple in Ohio,
Wait.
maybe. Rax roast beef sandwiches.
Ooh,
Yes.
that sounds.
Yes.
You don't recall
It was a
Rax?
rival of Arby's.
I was about to
and
say, catch me up. I don't think I've
they
ever
all
been there.
basically disappeared. And
Yeah.
now everybody loves them now more than ever. But
Well,
they're
you
really
always,
hard to find.
Right.
You'll
it's like
want what you can have.
It's
Yes.
exactly what I was going to say.
Exactly right. All right.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
I love Blockbuster.
Yeah, well, Video Vision. What are all the other?
Family Video.
Family Video.
Yeah.
True story. My dad still owns and operates a video rental store.
Really?
We live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
The streaming is terrible. It's almost worth your time to go rent a DVD still than try to get your internet to stream a whole movie. It
Wow.
does exist still.
Okay.
Wow.
Does your dad
Called
get a lot of
5 Star
business?
Video. Yeah. A lot of video game stuff too. You know.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Sure, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's also
All right.
a tanning salon.
You're going to hang out for a while.
All in one. Come on.
You guys hanging out for a while, right?
Yeah, you
We'll
bet.
be here.
Lindsay and Gina, again, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You can see us Three's Company right here. We're on the third floor of the back nine for the second annual fan golf outing to benefit Franciscan Health. Top of the hour, Dylan Windler of the Atlanta Hawks will join us. The former Perry Meridian standout We'll talk about being in the Summer League last night. He did not play, but they played the Lakers. And, of course, if you watched that last night, Bronny James was the emphasis of the broadcast. We'll talk to Dylan, top of the hour. Mike Chappell, I believe, if we get a hold of Mike Chappell, coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Hey, stay right there. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
I don't know what the hell's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're live at the back nine. This is Morris and Drover. Seriously, just bring yourself out here right now. Bring yourself out here. I want to say we may stay a little bit later because they have a DJ, I think, going out here tonight, right? On a Thursday night, a DJ. They have a stage that, have you guys seen it? Again, that's Lindsay and Tina with us.
That's a nice setup out there.
We'll see.
Feels like Friday, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, Thursday is just kind of Friday Junior. Friday Junior right here. So
yeah.
I think there's a DJ coming out. And I think I was summoned to go to the fair, the Johnson County Fair, to take my daughter Lainey, but it appears that's not going to happen. So all of a sudden, my schedule's clear.
Woo!
There it
Free as a bird.
All of a sudden, the schedule is clear. And that's fantastic right there. So, yeah, come on out and join us. I think they're going to have a DJ out here a little bit later on. At the very least, you can hit some balls, have some great food, have a great time. It's Gina, it's Lindsay, and it's me at the back nine. And what a great golf outing this has been.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many times have you been here?
Did you hit balls?
No, I even brought my clubs here, too. I didn't do anything.
Did you really? Oh, he
I
did
brought
take
two.
it seriously. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out there and wimp out. So I brought my one dog and a hybrid.
What's a
And
one dog? Is that your driver?
my driver.
Ooh, I've never heard it called a one dog.
One dog.
The one-
big dog, the one dog.
one
yeah,
dog.
The big dog one. So, yes.
I cannot hit my 3-wood to save my
It's a hard club to
life.
hit.
Please tell us more.
No, you don't want to know. You just don't want to know. I'll put you out of your misery right now. I lived it.
Man.
Do you play golf often? I never play.
We do. I mean, we play golf.
Yeah.
We played a lot of scrambles. Actually, we were talking. Dylan, we were talking about
Kravitz's.
Well, that
Bob
was last
Kravitz
week.
for ALS, and then also August 3rd for the Miracle Run there. So we do. We try to play in some scrambles for a good cause, and we'll hack away out there for a good cause.
We like to play as the celebrity addition to the foursome. That way, if we're terrible, no
pressure
pressure us.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to be
terrible.
okay, and whenever you go, anywhere, you'll be okay.
It's always a good time.
You see all the shots that are set up here? This is the other thing,
I know,
too. You want to stop by
honestly.
here?
I need to
The
get
shots
this
are
away.
flowing.
These were gifts. We did not purchase any.
It's weird.
just
Wherever
showed
I
up.
go, the shots flow. That's my motto
Did you
right
mean
there.
to rhyme?
I just make that up. Wherever I go, the shots will flow.
Can I give Dylan a quick shout out?
Yes, do it.
Dylan, tell me again, August 3rd.
You keep those shots over
You
there.
keep those shots over there. We got to give
This
you
is
some
a free
airtime,
plug.
though.
Dylan, August the 3rd. We do have to hit a break really quick, though, Dylan.
Miracle Run.
No, jump on here really quick.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, you're all good. You're all good. You'll freak James out back there, but that's okay. So, no, Dylan, tell really quick before we hit a break. One more time.
So August 3rd is our golf outing. We've raised a bunch of money for the Riley Children's Hospital, specifically the Heart Center. We've raised about $200,000 to $250,000 in the last 3 years. It's going to be an awesome time, and we want people to come out. Got a guy from Nashville coming out to play little tunes.
Awesome.
Going to be fun, man. Like, I'm always one of the guys that I want people to get something in return. So if you donate, you contribute, whatever else, I want somebody to get something in return to feel like their money's well spent. So that's huge to me. So
And where is it?
Southern Dunes.
Yeah.
Southern
And
Dunes
you're still
in
looking
Greenwood.
for foursomes?
I'm sorry?
You're still looking for foursomes to sign up to play?
Yeah, actually, we're sold out.
Oh.
Yeah, 144 golfers.
Oh, my gosh.
I could probably swing a couple others.
Okay.
Tailgate 7 a.m.
Yeah.
We tee off at 9 a.m. I'm thinking, I think Tommy O'Keefe from Nashville, he's going to start jamming out around noon, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it. Anybody and everybody comes out, have a pocket full of cash. It's all going to Riley Children's Hospital.
And this is close to your heart.
So my son, he's had 16 surgeries. He's had 2 open heart surgeries. Actually, the month of May, he was in Riley for, he had some pressure and fluid on his head, but there's no other place in the world that would have saved him and saved us more than Riley. And then when I mean save, it's like not only from like a life or whatever, but just being able to facilitate friendships and talking and all that. It's so important. And if anybody's ever been there, they know. If not, I'll be happy to tell them.
Awesome. Thanks, Dylan.
Dylan,
You guys are the best.
My brother. Appreciate you, man. Right there.
Awesome.
That's Dylan. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Lindsay and Gina will hang, and another Dylan's going to join us. Dylan Windler, the former Perry Meridian high school standout, had a great career at Belmont, and as a member of the Atlanta Hawks, he's playing on their summer league team, and Dylan's going to join us coming up on the other side, so don't go anywhere. The ladies are back 9, and again, we have, with Franciscan Health, still going on our auction online. I sent that out. You can check it out at JMV 1070. Hey, stay right there. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Now go away.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Back 9. Drover and Morris. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Bananarama in Cruel Summer. From what film, ladies?
Ooh.
What film was this song in?
Wow.
Karate Kid, the original. Yeah.
I know that movie.
I've heard of
Do
it.
you, Lindsay?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, the original, 1984.
Great
Much older
movie.
than you ladies.
No, did you? What's the sequel on?
Karate Kid 2?
Yeah.
Karate Kid 3?
And the new with the same characters.
Oh, Cobra
Just came out.
Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai with Ralph Macchio.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And William Zabka. John Lawrence was the antagonist character.
Gosh,
You
I'm
remember.
not even going to try to keep up with you. You're
You
real
can.
good at this game.
I'm so good at this game.
We have to invite him
No
when we
doubt.
play trivia.
I know.
Lindsay Monroe and Gina Galeros here with us from Channel 13 at the back 9. And again, you can continue. Thank you to Franciscan Health for being a part of it. I got a great story about Franciscan Health I'll tell a little bit later on as well. But they are doing an outstanding job and being our partner and putting this on. Thank you very much for what you have done and continue the bidding. You can just follow on X at JMV 1070 and see some of the cool stuff you have the opportunity to bid on. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is a friend of the show. We used to make fun of him when he left basketball pickup games and open gym to play golf. And we shouldn't have, because he went on to just star at Belmont collegiately. First round draft pick in the NBA. Yeah, what do we know? Is now a member of the Atlanta Hawks. Dylan Windler from Perry Meridian High School is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Big fella, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How you been? It's been a while.
I miss you. I miss you, big
know.
fella. I do. I miss your left-handed stroke out there.
I know. You guys still playing? You still getting up and down?
Can you believe this? We're playing 3 and 4 nights a week, big fella.
Hey, I'm in Indy next week. I might pull up.
Hey, seriously, why don't you? Now, I don't want you to get you hurt or anything like that, but why don't you? Because, no, I go, kind of my rule is I go anywhere where Brandon Ray goes, because I always get a lot of really wide open shots when I play with him, because everybody guards him. So, yes.
That's fair. That's fair. It's 3-point line to 3-point line.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still me and John D'Armelio and Mike Landis, and we've got a lot of friends now at Center Grove that are opening up Center Grove Central and opening up the Vandy, and obviously I know your connection with Lauren, I believe, right, with Center Grove as well. So yeah. Why don't you come out? Just man. Don't work me. If you post me up, you can't come back. All right?
No, I'd love to stop by. That's awesome. You guys are still playing. That's sweet.
Nah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's funny. It's one thing I brought up about how we used to make fun of you when you went off to play golf and left basketball open gyms. But, man, there was a universal thing about growing up in the group in which we grew up with. And you were much younger than us. You were in junior high and high school whenever we were still playing, and you were a part of our open gyms. But, man, the universal thing was what we all had was a love of basketball. And it's cool because you're still in love with basketball. You're still trying to be at your best. And the awesome part about it is you get paid to do it. And that has to be incredibly special. I mean, we're just kind of jacking around and playing pickup games, but you actually get paid to do it, which just has to be amazing. What a great career.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great feeling. Obviously, put a lot of time to get where I'm at, but to be able to get over that hump and be able to get paid to play this game is definitely a blessing, and I definitely don't take it for granted, especially, through the injuries and everything that I've been through, feeling good again for the last couple of years. Don't take a game or practice for granted anymore, for sure.
So Dylan Windler, again, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You didn't play last night. Would you have checked Bronny James if you would have played last night?
Oh, of course. You got to. It's actually crazy. It was a fun game to watch. But man, I don't know if you can tell on TV, but every time that guy touches the ball, I mean, the whole crowd just oohs and ahs just when he gets the ball. It's really fascinating to watch. Just obviously how big of a star he is already, just from the fans' perspective. But it was a fun game. Obviously, it came down to the end. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play, but no, it's incredible what people are doing when he gets the ball, and obviously scoring. He hit his first 3, I think, at Summer League, and actually had, I think, his best game. So they were all fired up.
I think he had his first technical, too. That was right in front of you guys.
Yeah, he might have dropped an F-bomb or 2 at the ref, so I probably deserved that one.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah. He did drop an F-bomb right at the ref. Right to his face. So, that usually gets you a technical.
Yeah. Now, hey, in your career, have you ever received a technical?
Not in the NBA. I think I might have got 1 or 2 in college, just getting fired up at a ref. But I try to avoid them, especially in the NBA, because you get slapped with a fine. It's like $2,500 or something ridiculous. So I try to keep that money in my pocket.
That's a good plan. Is it really $2,500 you get fined when you get a technical?
Yeah, I believe it's something ridiculous like that. I mean, I know you can go to the league office and try to get it recalled or whatever, depending on, if you feel like you got wrongfully given a tech, and sometimes you can get that money back. But yeah, usually a tech it's a pretty hefty fine.
How often does that happen? Like that you actually go to the league and then have it reversed and are successful?
Yeah, I'd say it's probably like 10 to 20% of the time. Usually, most people get
worth a try though.
Yeah, not often.
Yeah, for sure. No, some people definitely get teed up too quick, and the ref may have made a mistake. But most of the time, it's usually deserved.
It's warranted. Okay.
Yeah.
They get their money.
Dylan Windler's.
Once they get the tech, they keep on running their mouths to get their money's worth. So.
Put it on his tab.
Well, hey, financially, you're responsible as hell. Dylan Windler joins us. How difficult has it been? Because the one thing that you've had to deal with probably more than most in your early career is just kind of a rapid-fire barrage of injuries. How have you dealt with that, and then how are you and your body feeling right now?
Yeah, definitely some unfortunate things pop up early in my professional career with the stress fracture, my tibia. It kind of popped up out of nowhere with overuse, and then having to get a surgery for that kind of led to more issues. But, yeah, I've been feeling great for the past year or 2 now, and back to happily playing basketball, because it was definitely a dark couple years there where it wasn't fun going to the gym every day and just trying to play through pain. It obviously takes the joy away from the game when you're just in pain every day trying to play and prove yourself. So, yeah, I'm back happy as ever playing the game, man. Like I said, I don't take it for granted anymore, because obviously at any moment, something bad can happen or injuries pop up. So, yeah, obviously put a lot of work in my body after the fact, just rehabbing, and I take my strength training very serious, and my diet and taking supplements and everything. So I take that very serious now, because obviously what I went through and where I am now, I want to be able to play for another 5 to 10 years. So just trying to take care of my body each and every day so I can, keep playing and stay happy, stay healthy, and stay on the court.
He is Dylan Windler, the former Perry Meridian High School Belmont Collegiate standout, a member of the Atlanta Hawks, kind enough to join us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So we'll get to Ronald Norad in a minute. He was your summer league coach. He's an assistant on that staff with Atlanta. I know you got some clock at the end of the year as well, but this is kind of a new start here with Atlanta. Where do you think your spot is? What have they told you about what could and hopefully is your short-term future there?
Yeah, so entering this summer, I ended the season on a 2-way. They kind of brought me in for the last couple months of the season last year. Got in, handful of games and did well, and kind of impressed the front office in the games I did play, and then so kind of made the decision to come back and play with them in summer league just so they can see me more and try to make another good impression. So had a good training camp, had a good couple first games, and hopefully finish out and have another couple good games here down the stretch. But they definitely have a lot of interest. It's kind of going to boil down to what they want to do with their roster. They're kind of making trades and kind of got guys moving back and forth. So I think they got, a lot of like 4 or 5 centers on their team right now, so they might have to move some people. So it's kind of just depend on roster availability. But I think I'm right in the mix for another wing spot that they're looking to fill. So my agent's meeting with their GM tomorrow morning, so hopefully I'll hear a little bit more. But really, I'm just going to try to finish out Summer League, have a good last couple games here, and just kind of see where it goes from there. But I think I'm in a good spot right now with Atlanta and a couple other teams interested as well.
You didn't play last night, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, when your team played the Lakers. Are you going to be in uniform coming up here for, what do you got, a couple more going on here?
Yeah, we play tomorrow and then Saturday, so I'm shooting to play both games. Yeah, I was going for a loose ball the other game and kind of got my elbow pulled back, hyperextended a little bit, so they're a little bit cautious with it last night, but went over to the gym this morning and got a good workout in with some contact stuff, so should be good to go for tomorrow and then hopefully Saturday too. So.
Playing for Ronald Norad as an assistant on the Hawks staff, obviously with roots here in Indy at Butler, and has been an assistant coach in the NBA, been a head coach, I think, in the G League as well. What's it like playing for Ronald Norad, at least in this summer league environment, Dylan?
Yeah, Ron is awesome, man. I love playing for him in the summer league. He's a really good coach. You could tell he's got a lot of passion for the game, and he still thinks he can play defense like he did, 15 years ago at Butler. But,
sure.
Just not the case. No, he's awesome. It's been fun playing for him. He's put me in, good position so far in the first couple games, and he wants to see me succeed, and we got a good relationship. And definitely, I've talked to him quite a bit about his time back at Butler, and I think he was head coach at Brownsburg for 1 year. After he was done playing too. So, he's got a lot of Indy connections. So we've talked a lot about that and had some good conversations. He's a great dude and a good coach. I think he's going to have a successful future, in the NBA or wherever he ends up coaching.
Yeah, it looks like he has, obviously what I can tell watching on TV from the bench in Summer League, it looks like he has a pretty good connection, pretty good relationship with everybody. And that's probably kind of difficult to coach your way, herd your way through everybody you want to try. Because, you want to win and you want to play the game like you're supposed to play it. But at the same time, you want to see guys in different situations. That's probably tough for a coach trying to do that in the summer league, even if it looks fun as hell.
Yeah, I'm sure they got a lot of people in their ear, whether it's from the front office and stuff saying, you got to play these guys in this many minutes, whatever, they want to get looks at people. And so I'm sure he's got, other people in his ear. But he's doing a great job coaching. And we obviously lost our first 3 games now. But I think it's been by a total of 9 points in 3 games. So just had a tough time finishing. And but, yeah, He's been a little frustrated, but, we'll go out and finish this right and get these last 2 wins for him, send him off into the sunset, first summer league coaching job. So we got to get him some wins.
Hey, Dylan Windler joins us of the Atlanta Hawks. So you mentioned frustration. How have you battled frustration? Because there's no doubt this has had to be tough, dealing with injuries, kind of being hijacked so far in your early career with a myriad of them. How have you dealt with it, and where are you, I should say, with that in mind? Because this all had to be incredibly difficult to, just emotionally speaking, trying to deal with that from a game where I'm sure you felt, from high school to college, you were doing a lot of things effortlessly and everything was falling into place. But where are you, and how have you dealt with that to this point in your career?
Yeah, it was definitely a big adjustment mentally, dealing through, going through those injuries and having my first, orthopedic surgery of any type. I never really had any significant injuries growing up or high school, even in college, just some sprained ankles and stuff like that. But, having to go through a surgery and rehab that and being out for an extended period of time and dealing with the changes in your bodies after surgery and everything, it's definitely a battle that I've never really experienced, and definitely gained a lot of respect for people that go through that type of stuff and come back on the other end, right back where they were. It's definitely not easy. You see people go down with ACLs and knee injuries, and you don't really think about the process they go through. You just kind of see them back, in the next, 12 months or whatever. But it's a grueling process, very emotional, a lot of tough days you got to fight through. And, but I think all that stuff has kind of helped me be a better person and ultimately player, on the back end mentally. And, now that my body's back physically where it was, I think it's going to definitely help me in the future, just mentally being able to deal with that and all the emotions and stress and ups and downs that came with that to, finally be on the other side of it and feeling good again. I think it's kind of a tool now that I've gone through that and can kind of use that moving forward for me. But yeah, it's not easy, man. Injuries suck, and a lot of times you can't really avoid them. You just kind of got to deal with them when they happen. So yeah, very fortunate to be where I am now for sure.
So did you ever have an injury before you got to the NBA?
No. And then it was a stress fracture I kind of developed, kind of at the end of my college career, and then going through the pre-draft process, there's kind of no downtime, and then just going through all those pre-draft workouts and the combine, and then going right into NBA training camp. I guess it was just like one of those overuse things, stress reactions, stress fractures that never really got a chance to heal. So ended up having to do the surgery where they put the rod down your leg, and so got a rod in my tibia. They cut through your knee, and had a lot of complications with the knee where they cut through with the healing process, scar tissue, and then I had knee issues from that surgery. So never had any knee issues before that. So yeah, I had to deal with a lot of stuff that kind of just fell on my plate due to the circumstances. So like I said, a lot of times you can't really control too much. You just kind of got to deal with it and learn to get past it and get through it. But definitely not easy, far from easy. Definitely the hardest thing I've had to do in my life for sure.
Man, that's a lot to deal with right there. Yeah, and obviously I knew of your injuries, but when you've never had one before and you have to deal with it and it's nonstop as it has been with you, that's not something you get used to in a moment, or you soak up in a moment. That has to really prey on your mind a little bit. Like mentally speaking, that's a hell of a hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, no, it wears you down, especially, right going into your rookie season. You're on the biggest high of your life. You get drafted to the NBA, and then you got to deal with stuff like that right away. Obviously sets you back in your rookie year and your next year. So, yeah, it's a lot to deal with. But like I said, I think on the back end it's going to pay off going through those experiences and learn to take care of my body in different ways, and feel like I got a really good grasp on everything now. So hopefully, like I said, I'll be able to continue playing for another 5-10 years and wherever that may be. Like I said, I'm happy now and healthy, so that's all I can ask for, really.
Was there ever a point in time when you thought maybe it was done? Maybe you were going to be done? You were going down that path?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely after the surgery, and then I had to get a cleanup on my knee. So I had a bunch of knee pain after that first surgery. There was definitely days where I was like, I don't see the light at the end of this tunnel. Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to play basketball, at least pain-free, because, even my second into my third year, I played through so much pain just trying to play after missing my first year. So, yeah, it took a lot of the joy out of the game, going into the gym, trying to run around and jump on a knee that's just like stabbing pain when you're trying to jump. So, yeah, there were definitely days where I was like, I don't know how long I can keep doing this, if I'm in this type of pain. So, but, I just kept going and kept doing the rehab, kept doing the strengthening stuff. And, eventually you get over that hurdle if you keep going. Luckily I didn't stop short and and give up on it because, fighting through that thing for, 2 years or so, there's definitely a lot of people that kind of just said, I'm done with it. I've had enough. But kept going and finally found the light at the end of the tunnel.
It's a good story. Let's make this thing an incredibly happy ending, shall we, too? With Dylan Windler right there of the Atlanta Hawks and friend of the show right here from Perry Meridian High School. And so are you really going to play with us next week? Is that true? You good?
I should be back in town, I think, on Wednesday. So if you guys are playing, what days do you play? Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
Oh, we'll go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday for you. So we may make some special dates for you to come out there.
Yeah. You're playing at Center Grove now?
Yes. Are you okay with that? Yeah, you got a little Center Grove yeah. I mean, obviously that should be cool with you.
Yep, that works for me. Shoot me a text and tell me what days you're playing. I should definitely be able to make it. That'd be fun.
Center Grove Central, and we play at the high school some. Jason Wiseman is the principal at Center Grove Central. You know Jason, right, from his days. He used to play with us as well. He's the principal at Center Grove Central, and he'll open up for us, and we'll have a hell of a time right there. Man, we'll stir the echoes of some great memories back in the day.
I love it. Let's bring back the clock.
Are you home based in Nashville still?
Yeah, home base is in Nashville, and then I come up to Indy every so often, visit my mom, obviously, who lives up by you, and home base is in Nashville. I'll be heading back to Nashville here from Vegas, and then make my way up to Indy next week. So,
when's the last time you passed my house?
Probably like a month ago. Yeah, last time I was in Indy, I pretty much pass it every time. Usually throw a couple of eggs on the way by.
Have I ever been out mowing shirtless when you passed?
Thankfully no.
This took a turn.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But you have noticed the incredible landscaping job that has been done there, have you not?
Top tier, yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful, green, luscious.
Yes.
Nice.
People, there's some dude that gives me crap all the time because my bird feeder's hanging sideways. Come on, man. Bird feeder's fine. Seriously, I'm proud of you. You know that, right? Proud of. We're all proud of you too. We've known you a long time. We're really proud of you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, tell everybody I said hello. Get back here because you want to go from playing Bronny James to John D'Armelio. Okay, so we'll do that within a week.
All right, sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Good to hear from you.
All right, thanks so much. Have a good one.
You got it. Dylan Windler of Perry Meridian. Belmont, who had just a great collegiate career at Belmont, and then now of the Atlanta Hawks dealing with a lot of injuries. We're live at the back nine once again. Gina and Lindsay with us. We have known him since he was little.
What a nice guy
he was literally such a great guy.
For him, right? I'm glad he
is a great guy. So his parents live out by me, and I see him often. So he is a good guy, and he's had to deal with a lot, and he's worked. He has worked on it, and
it's also making me feel real old. How old is he? 27. He said,
"Yeah.
Hopefully, I got 5 more years."
I'm like, please be closer to 10.
Yeah. You want to make sure you get that NBA pension as well, too. Which,
but yes, you can tell. You can tell what a good dude.
Yeah. Well, he was a draft pick at the end of the first round. I think 3-4 years ago, whatever it was.
2019.
And, 20. Thank you, Lindsay. And
I Googled.
Yeah, you can Google, but he got that guaranteed money too, and he was going to have a spot in Cleveland, and all of a sudden he gets injured, and since that point in time, I think he's bounced around to the Knicks, went to the Lakers.
You got to do what you got to do.
And what you said, touching on that, not only is it physical, but man, oh man, does that take a toll on your mental health?
Yeah, never been injured before, and all of a sudden you get to the NBA, your greatest goal and incredible accomplishment, and you got to deal with that. It's hard. It is. All right, Gina and Lindsay rejoin coming up in a minute. We'll get right on what we're doing in the 5 o'clock hour. And by the way, we're at the back nine still. And I think, hey, Michelle, are we still bidding? We still bidding right now? We're done bidding? Okay, because I was going to give some more bid opportunities here. Presented by Franciscan Health. I had J-Law still bidding, and he just didn't know what to bid on. Yes. Paul Montgomery's in the house as well. Hey, J-Law will bid on anything. It doesn't matter. Whatever, I'm going to bid on it right here. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. We're inside the bar here on level number 3. A DJ performing on the stage here at the back nine later on tonight. Quick one, we'll come back. We can work some calls at 239-1070 if you want, and more to come. Live from the back nine, second annual fan golf outing to benefit. Check that, presented by Franciscan Health. You can find us off of Drover and Morris. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Pacers and Nuggets getting ready to start the Summer League coming up in just a bit. Actually, 4:30. They're probably just tipping off right now. Back 9. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday that's always very special to us, presented by Franciscan Health. This is our Back 9 golf outing, which has been going on today. And again, I want to thank everybody being a part of it, too. It has been outstanding. We heard from our friends from the shop, Broad Ripple Carmel, and, of course, their warehouse as well. Downtown on Mass Ave, you can find their location, too. And always coming up with that great apparel you're looking for, where vintage never gets old. We talked about Brian and Alex a little bit earlier. Swebo was here, Andy Sweeney of the morning show. Dylan Windler of the Atlanta Hawks was just on, and I want to thank Dylan for calling in. Great story, and we want this to be an incredibly happy ending for him as well. He has worked so hard at it and trying to come back from, again, a lot of injuries. And hopefully the Atlanta Hawks is a place where he can find a little bit of run, a little bit of clock, and move forward from that. If you missed any of it, the podcast at 1075thefan.com. From Channel 13, we've got Lindsay Monroe. We've got Gina Galeros here. Ladies, how we doing?
Doing well.
So good.
You like talking to some of the sports stars, especially guys like that.
Yes.
That
Good
is from here, and
Yes.
we know very
hearing-
well.
We love hearing.
We were just, I had
Go ahead.
stories about success from here.
Truly.
But we were talking about the 2019 draft that he was in, and that was kind of right before all the NIL stuff took over.
Right.
And I feel like every week there's something new and
There is.
ways for college athletes to make money. It's like, dang, he
Buku
was
bucks.
just after all of that starting to take effect. It's like I kind of wanted to know, like, do you think this is going to be good for college basketball or whatnot? And it's
She
like,
didn't want it to take another.
I didn't want it to be a
turn.
negative.
Yeah, right.
The salt in the wound question.
Oh, well, it is not going to end anytime soon, and that's something we talked
Good
about.
point, though, Linz.
Who was I? Oh, I was talking about that with Swebo at the beginning too. I mean, you just get like Indiana State. When we were talking about Indiana State, it was a great run, but now because everybody poaches your players because they were good and they can be useful at a higher level, you can go with a higher level team. You're kind of left picking up the pieces, and you're probably going to be down for the next couple of years, if not more, from that. And that's going to be the nature of it right now, because all these top programs are going to be poaching and trying to reload every single year. So just
But
like
as a
that.
player who may or may not make it in the NBA,
Yep.
or say you do get drafted, you don't get that guaranteed money, and you injure yourself and you're done, it's like, well, at least you've made a couple bucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're probably going to start doing that in high school here pretty soon, so we'll get ready for that. And every time you say, and I'm with you, Lindsay, every time you say that it's not going to happen, ultimately it ends up happening. You know what I mean? So
I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It's just like,
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that.
Wild.
So it's something where we are right now, but that's where we are. And the one thing I love certainly is basketball, and I'm assuming I'll continue to watch. I don't know if this is going to run people away or not, but what the heck? Hey, how we doing? What are the big stories going on in the worlds of weather and news?
well, the weather's going to be awesome coming up
Awesome
this
weather.
weekend.
You know what? We thank you for the weather.
I know.
Lindsay Monroe is in charge of the weather today. Thank her.
And through the weekend.
Yes.
No very low humidity, right?
Oh my gosh, it's been awful lately. So this is great. And we talked about, the Brickyard weekend. It's been fluctuating. It's like, when is it? We don't know. It keeps changing, and it's always hot and miserable. It's like, oh, is the weather playing into it? And the fact that it just so happened to be this weekend.
Yeah.
Everything's playing out exactly how
So
it should.
is the weekend going to be just like today?
It'll be a little hotter. I'm looking at about 84.
Beauties.
Versus like 77. So it will, dare I say, a little cool today.
It is nice out there,
I
though.
know, especially to watch a race. So this weekend does look a lot better.
All
Doug
right.
Bowles will be on our show tomorrow morning.
Will
We'll
he?
be at IMS covering the Brickyard. Little preview action.
You're on tomorrow
I
morning?
will be there
I'll be on
tomorrow
too.
morning, and Lindsay will be on there.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be.
Oh, you guys both got morning
Well,
wake-up calls.
yeah.
So you got to
See?
get the hell out of Dodge here tonight.
Well,
you got to get to bed.
We had to make an appearance.
Oh,
and hang
I
out with
love
you
it.
for a little
Oh,
bit.
that makes me feel so good.
And I was actually talking to Doug this morning, and a lot of the winners from years past, it's obviously it's a big year, 30
Yeah,
years,
30 years.
of the Brickyard. also returning to the Oval.
Thank
but
gosh.
Several winners, including Jeff Gordon, they are returning this year for Sunday. So to do like a little class picture. So they said about 15 past winners. So pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, you would not have believed in 1994 how incredibly popular when it first started, how this was. And there were a number of years, like there is a historical festival in my town where I grew up in Owensburg in southwestern Indiana that was always held. And it just so happened, it was held from 1976 until now or whatever. And it just so happened that the Brickyard picked that particular weekend to start holding the races in 94.
Gosh.
And they had to move it because so many people ended up either going to the race or watching the race that it was affecting, the people that were able to go. So they ended up moving it because of that. And to many, that's unrecognizable because that particular interest in this race is not even close to where it was in the first 5 or 6 years of it.
Sure.
Do you think it's a NASCAR thing in general, or what do you think contributed to that? Just not as popular.
Yeah. So that's it's been tough. There's no doubt about that for that. But there's still a little bit of interest there. There have been a lot of reasons as to why. Lindsay, you mentioned NASCAR, and they had the whole tire thing, and the whole competition cautions years ago. But it's just the racing probably has just never been that great there. But I will say this: they're going back to the Oval. You got the 30th anniversary, and in people, you can tell people are more excited. If you can find that excitement now, they're more excited because they're going back to the Oval and getting away from the road course they have been doing for the past couple of years.
Right.
So
I think it's going to be a lot better on the Oval.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just
and that's what Coles was
is.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, like the layout of the Oval is what built IMS, what built the 500.
Even if it's not beneficial to NASCAR racing,
Yes.
that's what it is.
Yes, and it is. We were talking about how it kind of gets obviously, anything in comparison gets overshadowed by the 500. But he was saying, 70,000 fans for the Brickyard, that's a full NFL stadium. So it's still pretty good. It's legit. It's
Pretty
legit.
good.
That's Gina Galeros and Lindsay Monroe, Channel 13, with us as we're live at the back nine today in the bar on level number 3. If you want to come and see us, we'd love to see you. 239-1070 is the number. I believe is this Mark Sion, a Big Green Egg, who's joining us now?
Hello, John. Thanks for taking my call. How you doing?
You got it, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going off of voice recognition here for these two gals, and I am a big fan of local media, as you well know. So I don't know if everybody knows this about Gina, and I think I know who I'm talking to when I say Gina. Gina, you are not only a bowler, but you're a hockey player. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yes.
How did you know that?
Well, because I watch on the weekends when I am getting ready to go do a Big Green Egg event, and I think it was about a year and a half ago, you said you joined a bowling league, and I was like, that's cool. I love to bowl. And
I just want to let you know it was my bowling league that Gina joined.
And then, Lindsay, I think I gave you a hug at the Big Green Egg booth at the Indy Home Show about a year or two ago. Is that correct, Lindsay?
That makes sense. Yeah, I go to the Home Show every year. I love the Home Show.
Yeah, so you were out in front of the Big Green Egg booth. And then you guys did a skating piece in Carmel where you're both skating, figure skating, kind of. And I think Gina mentioned that she grew up playing hockey.
Yes, a long time ago.
So you played hockey?
I did. I was the only girl on the team.
That's awesome.
I started, it's fun. Yeah, so I started figure skating when I was a kid, and I was about, who knows, I think kindergarten. And we lived on a cul-de-sac, so we played street hockey, and my brother, I was the only girl, and I was big tomboy, and so we had a couple. My brother started playing hockey, and this kid now actually a professional hockey player. I think he's still in like dating Christo, and his dad was a coach. Anyway, I was like, I want to play hockey with the boys. So I went until like sophomore year of high school, and it was fun. But I was like, I want to go, and I thought about doing a girls' league, and And the guys got too big for me, and then I stopped. But I wish I would have maybe played
Can you
a
still
little
skate?
longer. Yeah, I love
Oh, she can skate.
Yeah.
I had no idea, Mark. None.
Do you skate? Do you skate? Do you play
back
hockey?
To bowling. Back to bowling.
Oh,
What's your high game in
the
bowling?
original.
What's your high game? What's your high game?
Gosh.
Oh, don't. Well, I can tell you the low game.
Yeah. I think my highest ever was like maybe
157.
About I was about to say right around there. Yeah. How about you? Are you a bowler?
Yeah, I grew up kind of bowling a little bit. John, I got the best story as far as almost hitting 300.
My gosh!
I was one frame away. What happened was I went strike, 7 spare, and I struck out for a 279. So
wow,
that was the best I ever did.
All right, you're gonna have to teach me some bowling, and I'll teach you some hockey moves.
Teach us the
All right,
sidewinders.
well, John knows how to get a hold of me. And the last thing I want to say is this. On October 4th, Big Green Egg wants to set a Guinness Book of World Records of the most people cooking on a Kamado grill, Big Green Egg, over live fire. And that's October 4th. So you're going to see some media about this coming up in about a month. And we're going to try to set a Guinness Book of World Records to celebrate Big Green Egg's 50th anniversary of being in business. So, John, get ready to put a brisket on October 4th, baby.
You got it.
We are going to be cooking up a storm on October 4th.
You got it. Mark Scion, a Big Green Egg, man. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
That's awesome right there. Now, Back Nine's our location. I know we have more on hold. I tell you what, Brian, we're going to leave you and have you lead coming up on the other side at 239-1070. The 152nd Open Championship begins, or is underway, I should say, but has begun, I should say. They'll get an update on that coming up, too. And I also mentioned this. I was kind of distracted by Pacers and Nuggets this afternoon. That is underway in Las Vegas in Summer League action. So there you go. We'll keep you updated on that. And, again, already in the books at round number 1, the 152nd Open Championship. That and more live from the Back Nine on the 2nd annual fan golf outing. And we're presented by Franciscan Health. Thank you all for joining us. More to come. If you missed Dylan Windler a little bit earlier, that podcast at 1075thefan.com. Thank you all in the bar on the 3rd floor. Back Nine with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Excuse me, Robo. Any special message for all the kids watching at home?
Stay out of trouble. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, welcome back. I do have sad news to share with you. I'm sure most of you have probably heard it already. Legendary entertainer, comedic actor Bob Newhart has passed away at the age of 94. Bob Newhart is an absolute legend. Make no mistake about it. If you were, my age, or probably a little bit older, the old Bob Newhart show in the 70s was an absolute staple. And then Newhart in the 80s, when he went from, being a psychiatrist, I think, in Chicago in the 70s in the Bob Newhart show, they transitioned to being on CBS as a part of Newhart in the 80s. And he and his wife, the late Mary Fran, then owned a bed and breakfast in Vermont. That was, I think, the emphasis, I should say, of the show back then. But if you remember that Newhart, the 80s Newhart had one of the greatest finales of all time where they meshed the 70s Bob Newhart show with Newhart. He's been on a variety of television shows, of movies. Bob Newhart passed away today at the age of 94. And I saw this from Jim Irsay, the Colts owner. Jim Irsay said that Bob Newhart was a Colts fan. But obviously, Jim's a big fan of Bob Newhart. There just were very few better than him and did it for such a long time. And I think about the comedians that are still with us today. Bob Newhart was one at the age of 94. Mel Brooks is another one. I think Mel's 98, but just an absolute incredible career for Bob Newhart, who passed away today at the age of 94. Lindsey Monroe, Gina Galeros, Channel 13 with us. We're at the back nine. Again, thank you all for joining us today. So you guys have sunrise tomorrow morning, and then the weekend off, correct, ladies?
I have the weekend off.
Oh, Gina's going to work on night.
I got to work night.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
They moved you to night.
You knew.
Is that by yourself?
I forgot.
Rubbing it in.
I literally can't keep track.
I am by myself.
You get nervous?
Weekend, evening. I really don't.
Good.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. I used to. Everybody got nervous at the beginning.
Yeah.
I will say though, sometimes big stories, they break.
Yeah.
And you want to get them right.
Yep.
So I take that back. So sometimes I get nervous if it's like something's breaking. You want to get all the facts right as soon as there's not a whole lot of time to go over everything beforehand. But for the most part, it's like anything. It's like anything. You do it enough, you don't get as nervous.
And Lindsay talks to a wall all the time. A green screen.
Yes.
The wall.
I do.
And maybe most people know this, maybe they don't. But, anchors, reporters usually go through a script. Meteorologists.
Yeah.
I just say whatever I want.
You say whatever you
Radio's
want.
awesome because it just translates.
Do you type up your own scripts?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
How long does that take?
Honestly, I'm faster and faster. Sometimes you get writer's block, but again, you do it enough, you get quick. You get fast.
Use the same word over and over again too much?
Meanwhile, switching gears. Switching gears. And that's the hardest part. When there's a tough turn, it's such a serious story.
It's a crutch.
And then your producer wants to put something light and fluffy in there. And you're like, how in the world do you want me to transition to this light story? So I'm like, switching gears now.
Switching gears.
On a completely unrelated note.
Good timestamp. 9:20 on your Sunday morning. Switching gears.
Is that a crutch? You guys call that a crutch
Yes,
like we do?
That is a crutch.
Well, we were told by the consultants that do time checks in the morning. Time checks because everyone's like minute by minute. Their mornings it matters minute by minute. So
consultants.
So we just got used to doing these
what a
time
bunch
checks.
Of nerds.
Oh, I know.
Consultants are just nerds that never could do it. And believe me, we have them too. Consultants try to tell us how to do local radio here, and I go, nerd, just settle down.
That's right.
You don't know what the hell's happening.
Why are we still paying you?
I think I will say we're always learning, and there's always something you get your groove, and then somebody else says,
Sure.
You're like, man, I didn't realize I was doing that. But at the same time, That's what they're paid to do. If they come into their station, they don't have anything else to tell you. They don't have anything
They're gonna
to tell
make
you to
something.
correct you. You got to tell me something I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, well, heck with that. So, all right, ladies on the other side, Brian on the other side as well, and more to come. Quick update for you, too. Pacers down 18-11. There's Summer League games going on in Vegas right now. They're fourth of the Vegas Summer League. They're 1-2 on the season, 18-11 to the Summer League Denver Nuggets. 0 for 3 for Johnny Furphy so far. Jarris Walker's got 2 on, get this, a 1 for 6 so far in the first quarter for Jarris Walker. So he may be, as I would like to describe, broke as a joke so far. He is broke. We'll see if they get any better coming up again. That's the first quarter score. Las Vegas Summer League, 18-11 Nuggets over the Pacers. The 152nd Open Championship also went down in round number 1 a little bit earlier. Update on that and a lot more with the ladies. I'm John, back 9, presented by Franciscan Health. This is the second annual Fan Golf Outing with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No. The definition of the word idiot, which you f***ing are.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
John here. Thank you so much. Third floor, back 9. Danny Hayes, where are you today? We're around Colley's finest right there. We're having a great time. Second annual fan golf outing. And again, presented by Franciscan Health. My friends at Franciscan Health, this is a true story. By the way, 239-1070. We'll start with Brian in a second. We've got plenty of time for your calls as we go into Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts, at the bottom of the hour. But I learned this time last year, and I thought it was a joke. I had Franciscan Health. They took my blood pressure. Look at me flexing in front of you ladies right here, too.
Look at those
muscles.
Woo!
They took my blood pressure, and they go, oh, I don't know about this. And I said, well, take it again. It was extremely high.
Oh, no.
Very high blood pressure. And thank you, Franciscan Health, my friends there. That got me spurred into action to do something about it. So now it is exactly where it needs to be. So that is just the level of importance to make sure you keep track of that. Anything around the ticker. You got to make sure you know exactly what's going on at any point in your life. And thank you, Franciscan Health, for that. That was last year. A year later, again, the second annual golf outing at the back nine. They have been very important in my life. They have, ladies.
I would say so instrumental. I'm
yes, exactly.
Well, the numbers are back on track.
Back on track.
And everybody says, I have family stories. Everybody says, it's not going to happen to me. We don't want to go to the doctor. You hear it every time, and it's like, when in doubt, go to the doctor.
Exactly. So thank you. And they did that last year. I think they took it like 8 times because I go, no, it's not like that.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was, I think it was like 150 over 160 over 130 or say it was not good. It was like, it was like a really high-scoring NBA game. It wasn't. I go, hey, oh my God! So, and it got me motivated into doing something about it. So
that's what I was going to ask you. I know you can't give medical advice out, but what are some of the things that you did to kind of
that's a good question. I don't know. Well, first I took medicine for one, so I started that. But no. Lindsay, it's a great point that you make because I took medicine, but I take medicine to get into, just getting more sleep. That's part of my issue is I get zero sleep. I never sleep. I don't think to sleep. But I got into that situation. I started to sleep better, and you just get into. I'm very routine oriented, and I just got into better routines. I wasn't eating at midnight like I normally do because you don't sleep or anything like that. So,
So you changed your lifestyle.
I guess, And I think part of the point is when you get on meds is to get to the other side and be able to get off meds. Exactly.
Right.
So that's where I am right now.
And sometimes you just need that little scare. I know there's been members of my family recently kind of diagnosed with like pre-diabetes, and it's like, oh no, like what can we do? They cut out all sugar, completely changed their diet, actually started looking at what the ingredients were and the things that they were consuming. And they're like, why am I consuming this crap? Cut it all out, and they're on their way to better health.
I have been eating a lot of chickpea pasta, and it tastes like crap.
No,
it does.
Put
you guys ever have chickpea pasta?
Yeah,
it's
all
awful.
I eat.
I love chickpeas.
Do you really?
I
love chickpeas.
I'm not going to go into it, but they said there's a lot of girls there. Never mind.
No, say
Look
it. Go with your first instinct and say what you want to say.
I just saw on Instagram about chickpeas and the benefits for women.
Well, tell me a little something about the benefit. What's it do?
To all the women listeners out there
I know.
right now.
Just look it up. I'm not going to say it out loud.
No, I want you to.
Post it on your Instagram.
Hey, wait a minute. Will I be excited about it?
Aesthetically speaking,
will I be motivated? Oh, yeah.
You would.
I'm motivated.
You would.
Ladies, eat your chickpeas.
Guys like, eat your chickpeas.
There you go. I don't mind chickpeas, but I don't. In the form of pasta, it tastes terrible.
And to be fair, I've loved chickpeas even before I knew the benefits of it.
Yes, I used to put them on salads and everything.
And in pasta, you're not a fan.
The chickpea pasta tastes like garbage.
Not for you.
Yeah.
Just stick
especially
with
reheated.
the
That's really bad.
The zucchini noodles.
What's that?
The zucchini noodles.
Zucchini noodles. Another one, right?
The squash noodles.
I've got chickpea. I've gone to chickpea pasta. That's me.
You get used to it.
Yeah. The little Italian dressing on it.
Leave it to us. Boy, do we get on tangents, don't we?
We do. I want to hear more about the benefits of chickpeas. At JMV 1070, can somebody do a little research right now? Tell me what the benefits of chickpeas are and let me know so I can add to the conversation here.
For women specifically.
For women, yes. Not for dudes like me, but for for women. All right, we got time at 239-1070. We'll get you an update on the Pacers and the Summer League as well. One deal today in the NBA, Russell Westbrook is being traded. It's part of a 3-team deal. Actually, he was being traded from the Clippers to the Jazz, and then I think the Jazz will release him. It's one of those kind of oddball financial type of situations. He's going to be dropped by the Jazz and then picked up by the Nuggets, so he's going to end up playing in Denver coming up next year. Russell Westbrook, formerly of the Clippers. We got that, and what is a very interesting time. Now, the Fever are going on All-Star / Olympic hiatus. In case you missed our conversation a little bit earlier, disappointing night last night, but Caitlin Clark, a WNBA record in assists for 19. And actually, if you guys were watching that last night, had an opportunity, and Samuelson, I think, had an opportunity at a wide open 3 for assist number 20 late in that game, and didn't get it. But once again, just goes to show you, not only is she backing it up with just continued hype, it is phenomenal how people love to watch and are interested in what she does. But then last night, even in a loss, which was bad for the Fever, she had an outstanding game, ladies. She did, if you watched it.
Well, yeah, and it's highlighting the fact that she doesn't have to always shoot these logo threes to still be super exciting to watch. I mean, there's multiple assets of her game that, makes it exciting to watch the entire team play.
Yeah, but she can't do it alone.
No, well, and there were a lot of turnovers in that thing, and that's no doubt about that. So,
yeah,
a lot of turnovers and some bad defense. All right, I'm learning a little bit more about chickpeas.
I wondered what the pause.
We have some guys clapping. Do you know the answer? Hummus. Hummus is great.
Man, oh man!
But do you know the benefits? He's giving me a look.
The women are getting. It's inspirational. There's a little inspiration, a little motivation and inspiration. Man, I should have chickpeas in my bag right here. Let's all eat chickpeas.
Excuse me.
Chickpeas for everybody.
How you doing? You want some chickpeas?
So according to Michael Gigi, I should break out the chickpeas right now. My goodness. That's awesome. JMV, like spaghetti, squash is not noodles. No.
No, it totally is.
Chickpea pasta is not something that I.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's the way that it is.
Yeah, my
Especially
family.
from an Italian.
We're Italian, and I try to get my family onto the wheat bandwagon of noodles, and they're like, my mom doesn't even look at. She's like doesn't even entertain it. Like, I'm not trying.
Well, your mom probably doesn't get anything out of the package either, right?
Right, she probably makes it all. Oh, that's so different then. A higher ingredient quality.
Although I will say we do sauce out of and we just.
You call it gravy though, right? You call it gravy? Yeah. That's what, if you're Italian, you got to call the sauce gravy.
Gravy. Yeah. You're right. You know a thing or two.
I've seen The Sopranos a couple of different times.
A gabagool.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Gina and Lindsay and John at the back 9 and 239-1070. We got time if you guys want to call in right now. Brian is up next today. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Brian, I'm outstanding. We're all great, Brian. It was a great day.
What do you know about chickpeas, Brian?
I don't do that.
Well, hey, Brian, let me tell you, Brian, when you get off this call, look it up and you'll go, I should know a little bit more about chickpeas. We should all us dudes should really start getting into chickpeas.
I was researching it as you were speaking. So, yeah.
You got it, buddy.
I'm going to get educated, but I'm going to just say, I'm celebrating myself because I'll turn 62, born in 62 this year. But
well done.
Right.
Well, the thing is I was there at the track when the real king, Richard Petty, when they first started coming here, and got to see him drive his car around the speedway, and that made
wow.
So I just wanted to convey that, and it's not the track conducive for NASCAR, but it is what it is. But I'm just glad to say that I got to see the king go around the track a few times.
Hey, Brian, and if you remember that, you go back to 94, 30 years ago in the very early stages of the Brickyard here, it was also about name recognition, and you had, that level of stock car driver, finally getting out at IMS. And I remember this, and I don't know if you do as well. I'm sure you probably do, but there were a lot of open wheel / IndyCar people at the time that were dead set against it, didn't want it.
Exactly.
And listen, the racing is not great. It's probably never been great, but it was new, it was fresh, and man, those early years, that place was absolutely packed.
Exactly, because it's just what you said, not to regurgitate it, but that's how I got caught up. I remember I got caught up watching NASCAR by watching Donnie and Bobby Allison and King Richard, and when they got in the fight, Cale Yarborough got in the fight on the last stretch when it was only coming on Wide World of Sports. And that's what got me hooked on NASCAR. I was like, what is this? Because IndyCar back in the day when I was growing up wasn't televised, obviously here, never was, but it took all day for them to race. And I'm old enough that my older brother, before all the yellow shirts took over, threw me over the fence so we could go watch them practice. And that was back in the day when you could walk freely in the pits and see Andy Granatelli and everybody else were just walking about, and Mario and all the old drivers. And it's like I said, it's not the same, but it is what it is, and I'm glad they're at least going back to the oval. But hopefully Penske will acquire enough land and build some type of track out in the nether regions that has enough banking for them to do real speeds. You have a great day.
Brian, thank you very much. I do think that there is something, and there's always been, if you're talking about IndyCar or NASCAR or F1, there's always been, if you love one, you can't love another one. But in this particular case, here in the U.S., I think it's important to not have so much NASCAR and IndyCar in a battle royale about which one is better and who cares more about what and what races are better. I think racing has to be more of a unified thought with fans around the nation, because you just see in a lot of areas it's slipping away. And I just listen, I don't know if it has any bearing on whether or not somebody from IndyCar that's a fan would make fun of NASCAR or vice versa. But I think that the more and more that you see it, you kind of just got to call it American racing and not be critical of one another as much as it was certainly fair game. And you go all the way back even prior to 94. It was always a point of contention. If you're one fan of IndyCar or open wheel, you can't be a fan of NASCAR. I just think racing in general in this country now, you need to be a fan of both, because there's just been such a separation. And you see like F1 globally doing what it's doing and more now in the American eyeball than ever, because you see it on ESPN, even if it's at 6 a.m. or whatever. It is more prominent than ever. To me, you can't be one against the other, pitted one against one another anymore. I think you've got to be more of a, hey, it's racing, and whether it's NASCAR at the Brickyard or the greatest spectacle in racing, I think everybody's kind of got to be on board with it, because it's not the same as it was. It is in really stark contrast compared to what it was 30 years ago. And as we celebrate that anniversary, I think that's something you got to think about around here, really. Yes. And I've said this about, IndyCar, and I know that the NBC folks here, Gina and Lindsay, will hate that. IndyCar is now going to be moving to Fox.
Yeah.
And people say, well, Fox is going to get them better coverage. And that may be the case. But IndyCar is going to have to deliver better on their end, have more interesting races, have more of an interesting car, whatever you're talking about. It's got to be better than it has been. It can't just be 2 weeks in May to where everybody comes to party and also there's racing going on. They have to add a little bit to it.
Well, in my case growing up, it was the engine. It was who made the engine. And my dad is a drag racer. So I grew up, there's pictures of me 6 weeks old at a drag strip. And they were big. He's a big Mustang guy, big Ford guy. So we were big NASCAR fans because Ford made a lot of racing engines. I was a big Mark Martin, Bill Elliott fan back in the mid-'90s. And that crossed over. Obviously, my dad, straight track versus, he was like, I'll never race in a circle track. I don't want to do that. But he was a big Ford Motor Company engine fan. So that is where that crossover happened. So it was like, if it's drag racing, if it's NASCAR, you're rooting for like the Ford team, like Team Ford. And we hated Chevy. Like we didn't like Jeff Gordon. That's what I was taught as a kid. You know, he's a Chevy driver. Blah.
He had that little dude that taking a whiz on like the Chevy or something like that. On your back window of your truck.
That's what we did in Wayne County.
What was that guy's name? The little guy that peed on stuff?
Oh, I don't know. I know exactly.
He was a little guy that peed on stuff.
Yes,
he didn't
I know.
like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But that's for me, like that's how I got into NASCAR is because, you know, I had to root for the Ford drivers. And that's where that crossover happened. And then obviously Ford didn't make IndyCar. So it took a little bit more for me to get into IndyCar. It's like, oh, once I went to a couple NASCAR races, Brickyard 400s as a kid, then I got into the IndyCar thing because I was really interested in this huge race that happened in my backyard. So I think it just kind of transitioned from one thing to the next. And we were multiple types of racing fans.
What level did your father drag race?
He raced in a lot of local bracket series. In fact, he still races today.
Does he really?
I just got a text from my mom. They're heading up to Michigan. He races in the NMRA now, which is the National Muscle Car Racing Association, I think. So he races muscle cars, and they're in this bracket series. They travel all over the eastern U.S., and they have their final race of the season at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Oh, wow.
In Indy.
Well, that's cool.
You get people from all over the country that come here, and it's fascinating. My grandpa, who's in his 80s, is still his crew chief out there in the burnout box, you know, lining him up at the start line, and you know, making sure he gets off and all that stuff. But and my mom races now too.
Yeah,
my mom is like an undefeated true street like champion. And so this is a really fun series that she races in. It has to be a street car. So what they do is they do a lap on a local interstate, get the car warmed up, and then you immediately go into 3 round robins. Yeah. And you either qualify for if your car runs the quarter mile in 12 seconds, 13, 14 seconds. And whoever averages closest to the 12.000, then you win that class and you win that. And she's won it like the last 7 races in a row. And so all these guys, you know, these drag racers, they're like,
I love it.
Oh, there's Elaine again in her Mustang, gonna come win the True Street class. And it's amazing. I was like, my parents are so cool.
So your dad has all this stuff in a garage, right?
Yeah, so he owns a car dealership over in my hometown.
Okay.
So he has some garage space, I think. You know, his hobby now, it's, you know, he had his same, like, he used to race in, like, a bracket series. So it was, like, an all fiberglass body. It was, like, a custom race engine. I mean, it was a race car. So now he goes back and forth between, like, customizing his race cars and then just doing street legal cars as well. So he does both, and it's kind of just like a hobby.
That's awesome.
Retirement years. Yeah.
So I may have missed this, but where do they actually practice then?
Where Muncie Dragway. So that's kind of like, and I used to race junior dragsters back in the day.
You did too.
Yeah, he got me into he got it from my brother, and he didn't want to do it. So I was like, can I take? It's like you in hockey. It's like, can I do the boy sport?
Yeah.
So I raced a junior dragster from like 10 years old to 16 years old. And I got to like hang out, and so they started a junior dragster program up at Muncie Dragway, and that's where I basically spent my childhood. So he'll like test out the car engine, and then he'll go do a test and tune on like a Wednesday night if he knows he's traveling out of town for a weekend race coming up.
Wow, they go to the U.S. Nationals too when it comes to Claremont, I bet?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, big
the
race
Lindsay
fan.
Monroe drag racing background.
Yeah.
We need to do a promo about
Yes.
this.
Well, it's actually, it's how I got into doing weather.
Yeah.
Like, long story short, it's like weather has a huge impact on racing, even if it's just a quarter-mile track. It's like you got to adjust. If you do your time trials when it's hot, sunny, the track is hot, and then you start running your races, the sun starts going down, the track temperature changes, your tire friction changes, how your engine processes the air and the atmosphere. It's different. You have to adjust up and down if your car's going to go faster or slower. It's changing weather conditions.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to work for a race team. I was like, oh, I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to like do all this stuff with like race teams, you know, and that's kind of like a seasonal job I learned. You know, you can do it. So that's kind of how I got into the TV side of weather, but I've always found weather impacts on racing kind of like the main thing I thought was very cool about meteorology.
That is outstanding right there. Wow. Lindsay Monroe, everybody. The family
Big
of
sports
drag racing and big sports fans right there, too.
See, full of surprises over
That's
here.
right.
Did you know that at all?
Gina
did.
I did,
Okay.
but I had that same
I didn't know you
reaction
played
when,
hockey
when
either.
she told me that. I mean,
No wonder you guys fit so well on the show. Big time sports people.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing hockey and everything. Michael says it was Calvin that peed on everything in the back windows, right?
okay.
Those stickers. It didn't. I don't like something you pee on or whatever. That's Calvin.
It's hilarious.
Yes, Calvin. Yeah, yeah. Everybody had one of those stickers, by the way.
Yes,
too.
we did.
I have it ingrained in my mind. I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, quick break and we shall return. Check that. I'm sorry. Before we go to break, let's go ahead and get Kent on board here. Can we at 239-1070? Hey, Kent, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, thanks a lot, John. And also to the ladies from Channel 13, former employee, way back. I used to stage manage the news. So anyway.
Well, I hear we're hiring, so if you ever want to come back.
I don't even know if do they even have stage managers anymore?
We have floor directors.
Floor directors,
they don't have that anymore. Nobody's in there. So anyway, I was lucky. I was part of the – John, you know me from running camera and stuff like that. But
sure.
In 92, I was out there when NASCAR – do you remember this, when NASCAR did the tire test? And
I do. And I remember people being mad about it. I do.
Oh, yeah, people were mad about it. But I tell you what, it was pretty impressive. I mean, to see those guys, and we got to meet the drivers because everybody went down and got autographs and stuff like that in between days and practices. And then I worked the 94 race, the very first one. And one thing I remember is you said the anti-NASCAR group and stuff like that. And I remember supposedly Tony George, remember there used to be bleachers all the way around the infield,
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, they were scared. They didn't want the Brickyard to have more attendance than the 500. So remember they removed all the bleachers in the infield. So as far as
Ken,
and stuff like that, yeah.
I've heard that story before. Is that true? Is that 100% true?
I think it is because I think one of the reporters, acted on it or something like that for somebody from the Star. It might even been Robin, unfortunately. So
yeah, I don't know if Robin would want to have, because Robin, if I remember correctly, Robin never liked NASCAR being here.
Yeah, but I remember that was supposedly that Tony did that for the first race, and because they didn't want. They still wanted the 500 to have the biggest crowd and attendance and stuff like that because everybody wanted to work that first race. So, and wanted to be there.
It is with that interest level in mind, Kent. It's unrecognizable today. Like, if you were to you tell people that story, and like I'm explaining that to Gina and Lindsay, and it's unrecognizable to them compared to when we were actually in it, because that is true, 100% true.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that I did them up till about 10 years ago. I think the last one I did was like 10 years ago, but it was just sad to see the attendance go away and everything. So, and I missed a couple years in there, including the one with the tire debacle and stuff. So, but yeah, it's just amazing to see how everything, and I hate to say this, but is that kind of reason why they still have the blackout for the 500? Because, remember, Brickyard was never blacked out. So stop and think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they have to worry about that anymore. But initially maybe that, Kent, was the thought. The taking the bleachers out, I'll see if I can 13 verify stuff. We'll see if 13 can verify that.
I'm currently searching.
If I remember right, they pulled the bleachers were out of there for the Brickyard. So, of course, the bleachers are gone now anyway. So.
Yeah, they are. Hey, Kent, man, thanks, I appreciate the call, man.
You're welcome.
That's Kent. Yeah, somebody verify that story. I've heard that before, but I don't know if I've really pressed it enough to ask. Hey, before we hit a break, I saw this. James Boyd was here a little bit earlier from The Athletic. If you missed this, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson just surprised Speedway High School's football program with brand new helmets. And while at this event, James asked him how his shoulder feels and if he's fully cleared for training camp. From Anthony Richardson, quote, "You'll see next week once I'm slinging that thing again. So just stay tuned." So that should make everybody feel good about the initial parts of training camp for the Colts, which, ladies, begins coming up in Westfield at Grand Park. That is next Wednesday. Ooh. So slanging that thing again. All right, ladies, sit tight. We'll come back. Back 9, our location. Speaking of which, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, with a little bit more, I'm sure, about that. We'll discuss it coming up on the other side. We'll get you updated on the Pacers 2 in Summer League, and Yacht Rock Review tickets will do as well. Presented by Franciscan Health. It is our 2nd annual Back 9 golf outing here on The Fan. And thanks for hanging with us on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
News. Good day, sir. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Pacers Summer League action. Game number 4 is going on this afternoon. They have taken a break, and I would assume to repaint the rims on the Pacers offensive side because they're shooting 20%.
That won't do it.
20% from the floor. J-Law, do the math. 8 of 39, maybe 21% if you round up. And I'm assuming that the Pacers offensively would want me to round up. 8 of 39. That would be 20 and a half. So round up 21% from the floor in the first half for the Pacers. They found themselves down 16, 42-26 to the Denver Nuggets again. Halftime Summer League in Las Vegas. That's not good. 21%.
Painful.
Yes, that's Gina Galeros, Lindsay Monroe here as well. Channel 13 WTHR. What are you watching there, Lindsay?
I'm watching the inaugural Brickyard 400.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's infield
If there are bleachers?
bleachers.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
so
confirmed
good.
in
You're on top of
92
it.
there were bleachers within between turn 1 and 2. There were definitely bleachers, right? We confirmed that in 92.
confirm.
So
So
now I'm
you're
just
really
trying to
into that
see.
story that Kent just told, aren't you?
I want to
like
see
it.
I love a good indie historical fact.
I'm sure that
We'll see.
ask Doug Bowles that tomorrow morning. I'm sure he'll love it, Gina.
I'm actually going to.
Are you really?
It's a great question.
We're invested
He won't.
now.
He may not love that one, but I want you to
And
anyway. Do
for
it.
the folks who are just
Yes.
tuning in again, so one more time,
Kent said that he ran camera out at IMS, and he said that Tony
there were
George
stands in
took out the bleachers
in the
on the infield so that the Brickyard, the 94, the first one, would not get a higher amount of attendance than the 500.
I'm going to ask him.
Oh, you got to ask him that
Might not be
tomorrow.
on camera.
Love
but
it.
I will be asking.
Oh, there's a fun fact, though. I heard Doug say earlier this week, the kissing of the bricks was a NASCAR thing, not an IndyCar
the
thing.
NASCAR thing. Was
Dale
that Dale Jarrett?
Dale Jarrett
Dale
in
Jarrett,
1996.
yes.
He was honoring the Motor Speedway by kissing the bricks when he won the
Kissing
NASCAR
the
race
bricks
of
is now
96.
something there.
And now it's an IndyCar thing. It's an everything thing. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Kissing the
Until
bricks.
just now.
There you go.
That's Gina. That's Lindsay. I'm John. Back 9. Franciscan Health presents to you the second annual fan golf outing. Again, thank you all very much for being a part of it on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He is the voice of the Colts. He's a friend of this show. He is Matt Taylor. Hey, Matt, thank you for the time. We got a little bit more, a lot smarter the show is today with Lindsay and Gina on it with me as well. So the show is a lot smarter than it usually is when you're on here.
Well, you need all the help you can get. There's no doubt about that. So thanks to them, and that helps everybody. Audience wins today, man.
Audience, yeah, and you get to see it too. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Hey, I saw Anthony Richardson went by Speedway High School and dropped off a bunch of helmets for the team, which is cool. But it almost made it sound like, with a question he was asked by James Boyd, that all systems are going to be ready to go for him to sling that thing around beginning next Wednesday, I guess, for a report date over at Westfield at Grand Park. Did you get the same message?
I get the same vibe. I get the same sense, and that's all great. And it's good that we can kind of squash the tail end of May and June and sort of put that to bed with the whole, let's kind of be smart about where we are in the calendar and let's not overwork him. And he's got the soreness. I mean, all of that was definitely true, but I think it was just a byproduct of I think they were surprised that he hadn't been more sore to that point in the calendar. And, to do right by him, knowing that the bigger picture in mind is quite frankly this time of year, right, with training camp and getting ready for preseason games and going through joint practices in a couple of weeks, and then obviously getting ready for, the regular season that's going to be here before you know it on September 8th. So I love that story. I love the story that came out of the story with him, all systems go, as you put it. But kind of anecdotally, one of my better friends from college is from Speedway. He's an assistant coach on that team at Speedway, the varsity team. And he texted me the other day that they are so jacked up. They kept it a secret from the team. I don't know how they did it, but They kept it a secret from the team that they were getting new helmets, and Anthony Richardson was coming, and he was going to sort of outfit the team with the state-of-the-art helmet, the same helmet that he uses. So just an unbelievable story. It's a great community there. It's a great school, and just, I mean, everything that we're getting now towards the start of football season, man, it's incredibly exciting. And normally this time of year, I kind of halfway wish that the summer would keep on going personally, because I love the summertime. I love being outside, spending time with friends and family. But I'm ready for football. I can't wait for next Wednesday to get here.
Oh, me too. So excited about it. And just to hit on Anthony Richardson again, since he got to Indianapolis, he has been such a good member of this community, just already making impacts here in Indianapolis. And it's just such a blessing to have him on and off of the field. But as we go into training camp, what are some of the storylines that we should be watching out for?
Well, you look at this roster, and it's pretty set. It's going to be tough for an undrafted free agent or a young guy to come in and crack this roster, considering all the continuity you have coming back, right? With 22 starters, 11 starters on offense and defense returning. So the core of this team is coming back. But even within that, you still have some subtle camp battles or position battles. You look at cornerback. Who's going to start when the Colts go nickel, right? When they go sub packages, because you got Kenny Moore, he's got 89 career starts, but the other 9 corners on the roster combined have 30 starts. And so you got a lot of inexperience, and the Colts, by their actions and quite frankly their inactions in free agency, have told everybody that they feel really good and comfortable with the upside and the potential of some of these young guys like Dallas Flowers and Jalen Jones and, some of the other Darrell Baker Jr., even though he had a kind of up and down season last year. They're going to ride with these horses. And so I think right now, who's going to be the outside corner? I think Juju Brents is going to be your starter if he can continue to stay healthy, which here in the offseason he's proven that after, a litany of injuries last year as a rookie. But I think Jalen Jones is probably going to start with the starters to begin training camp. But that by no means obviously ends the ongoing camp battle that I think is going to be there between he and Dallas Flowers. And Flowers is coming off an Achilles tear in week 4 last year. But here in the spring, he looked really good. To my, naked eye, if you will, I didn't see any limitations with him in his game. So I think it's going to be a really good battle between those two guys. And then also in the secondary, it's going to be Rodney Thomas and Nick Cross. Those two guys competing for what is the strong safety position along with Julian Blackman. Cross got more playing time towards the end of last year. That coincided with Rodney Thomas's playing time going down, had a kind of a rocky sophomore campaign. But Cross has got it all in terms of the athleticism, the range. He's a good physical player. He's just trying to put it all together, mentally, and continue to earn the trust of the coaching staff to put him out there in big time moments. But that's where he was in last year towards the end of the season. So I think Cross is going to be your starter to start camp. But again, it's going to be a good battle between he and or Rodney Thomas, I should say, in the month of August.
Touching on Richardson, obviously he's been a huge part of the conversation during the offseason. What can you tell us about behind the scenes, the conversation and talking to him, and where's his mind at, and how's he doing physically? And just if you could kind of pull back the curtain for us.
Yeah, I think he's ready to go. I think towards the end of last year, he said this in a not selfish way, but you totally get it as a 21, 22-year-old guy now that this team is in large part going to go as far as he can take it. And obviously it's never going to be about one guy. It's a team. There's no doubt about it. But the essence of the National Football League, a lot of responsibility is thrusted upon the quarterback's shoulders, and he understands that. So I think this year, or I should say last year, he got a good idea of what it means to be available. And I think you're going to see the Colts be a little bit more tactful. I don't think last year they did anything wrong at all in terms of how they used Anthony Richardson, because the play that he got hurt on was just a football play, right? That tackle by Harold Landry was just a regular football tackle. It just kind of landed perfectly on the shoulder to injure it for the rest of the season. But what I'm getting at is I think what you're going to see from the Colts is, if I had to guess, kind of how the Colts or how the Ravens use Lamar Jackson. They use him in high leverage situations, big third downs, right, in 4-minute situations inside the red zone. When you need the ball in your hands of your best player, that's when you're going to see Anthony Richardson take over. He's going to be smart about, getting down, not taking hits, throwing the football away. But when the game's on the line or you're in a gotta-have-it type of situation, that's why you drafted Anthony Richardson. If you don't want him to do those things, then you should have just drafted, typical pocket passer with, the 13th overall pick or whatever it was by moving back in the draft. So obviously everybody understands what I'm getting at there, but I think it's one of those situations where he now knows how important he is to the success of this team, and that's not an ego thing. That's not him being cocky. He just understands that he's a big part of the success that this team can have next year with all the pieces around him taken care of, locked up in free agency, the core of this team, all the pieces on offense. Anthony Richardson, I think, can elevate all of those guys that were here last year that are coming back for this upcoming season.
Here's Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts. Again, camp opens up Wednesday, so less than a week now up at Grand Park in Westfield. Things are officially underway, and you got a 2 thumbs up approval, evidently, from Anthony Richardson while dropping off helmets at Speedway High School to the football program a little bit earlier today as to his health and being ready to start throwing it once he gets to camp. And by the way, Matt's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I didn't want to slide away from the Colts for a moment. Did you happen to see the C.J. Stroud comments about his team and the whole 5-headed monster thing with his offensive skill group? Did you see that earlier today?
I didn't see it earlier today, but if it's anything, like the C.J. Stroud comments that, you've seen produced on podcasts throughout the offseason, I kind of get the gist of what he's saying. He's very much listen, I don't begrudge him for as being as confident and as bullish on the Texans as he seems to be, because I think they've got a really good roster, and quite frankly, he's really stinking good, and he proved it last year. So, why wouldn't you have some confidence and some uber aggressive comments going into the season? I don't mind it at all.
So, and I was thinking about this. I can't remember a time when anybody from Houston's spoken with that level of bravado about a team going in as he has with this group. And granted, I mean, you get Joe Mixon in the offseason, Stephon Diggs in the offseason, right, and Dalton Schultz at tight ends back, Nico Collins, who absolutely torched the Colts in that final game of the regular season, and Tank Dell, who missed a lot of the season injured a year ago. Matt, you're right. When you do look at that skill position group, that's pretty good. But I guess what stood out to me is I can't remember anybody from Houston ever speaking to that level before the start of the season like that. So you must be feeling good.
Well, I've seen, obviously I keep up on the division, try to on a daily basis. And as the season, inches closer and closer and closer, those that cover this team keep on telling everybody else that this could be the most exciting season in the history of the Houston Texans, which, it's saying something, right? You're talking about, since 2002, the infancy of their franchise. They've had some good teams over the years, but you look at all of the pieces you just described, plus C.J. Stroud, There's no reason to believe that he's going to go anywhere and there's going to be a drop-off. The AFC South could be the best division it has been in a long time within those 4 teams. And, I know I'm guilty of it, right? I know I sound cliche sometimes and it's hyperbole, but man, it is so true this year. Every stinking game is going to mean so much. I mean, if you just extrapolate it out and you look at the AFC conference, if you look at the teams right now, there's 16 teams on that side of the ledger. It's July whatever right now. I mean, how many teams can you legitimately cross off right now, like as teams that aren't going to be a threat to make the playoffs? I mean, I can't think of any, right? I mean, the Jaguars aren't going anywhere. The Texans certainly aren't going anywhere. I think the Titans are going to be much better than people think. I'm more of a believer in Will Levis than other people. I mean, it's just going to be a gauntlet. And if you look at that series between the Colts and the Texans, you know, it's huge hype because you get them right out of the gate. It's week one. It's the rematch game of last year in week 18 right off the bat. But, you know, the what could be the unfortunate part of that series is that they're going to be done playing each other by, I think it's week 8, week 9. It's right before Halloween. And I think that part sucks. I really do. I would like to see that series spaced out a little bit more and have, I mean, obviously you have to play them twice a year every year, but I would like to see it be a little bit more impactful. Maybe have that game be mid-November or mid-December and have it, you know, maybe get some rested players back or some injured players back, whatever the case might be. So long story short, the first half of the season for the Colts is so stacked with really good quarterbacks, and you play a lot of division games in the first 8, like that's been the case the last couple of years. So you're going to have to, you know, really put your best foot forward in the first half of the season, especially against those 2 games against the Texans, and that series is going to be over, you know, really before you start going trick-or-treating, my friend.
You may not know this, and I know we got to take a break here, according to James back in the studio, but are there only 2 division games on this schedule in the final 2 months of the season? After Halloween, I guess I should say. I think there's only 2 divisions. Is that true?
Well, I don't have the schedule in front of me. I mean,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have put you in that situation, so my bad.
Well, I know it's not as severe this year as it has been in years past. I mean,
right.
I think in 2022, I think 5 of your first 7 were against the division. I do know this year, in the month of October, you've got 4 out of 5 on the road, and 3 of those 4 road games are against AFC South competition. So not only you're going to play the division in boom, boom, boom fashion, but you're going to be all on the road, and those are going to be huge.
Yeah.
And, again, I think Tennessee is going to be better. That's not a layup. I mean, the AFC South is so loaded. I mean, if the Colts make the playoffs this year, that is a huge tip of the cap and a feather in their cap because, I mean, look at the teams right now that aren't going anywhere. You know, you got Buffalo, you got Cincinnati, you got Baltimore. You know, the Jets are going to be way better. The Steelers are going to be way better. I think the Colts are in the mix, and this is going to be one of the more parity-filled, exciting seasons in the NFL in a long time.
So, Matt Taylor, thank you for jumping on here. I appreciate that, and the ladies enjoyed you a great deal as well, too. We'll do it again soon, buddy.
Well, that is the first time in the history of my existence that any lady has enjoyed anything that I've had to say.
All right, buddy. We'll see you up there here relatively soon. Enjoy that drive to Westfield every day.
Can't wait, man. Be good.
All right, man. Matt Taylor, voice of the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Quick break. We'll come back with Gina and Lindsay and close out this show live from the Back Nine. Presented by Franciscan Health, second annual Back Nine Golf Outing with the Fan on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Thank you for your support.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Thank you, Franciscan Health and Back Nine, for having us the second annual fan golf outing.
Thank you.
Lindsay Monroe, Gina Glaros, where we're going to see you coming up.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow,
sunrise.
4 a.m., we're going to be talking all things Brickyard coming up this weekend.
We're going to stay out till midnight tonight, aren't we?
Oh,
together?
yeah. I'll just go right to IMS.
Yes, do that. Go right to IMS. James, thank you very much. Our friend Dylan Windler from the Atlanta Hawks. Matt Taylor, as you heard as well. Swebo a little bit earlier. Our friends from the shop. And again, thank you everybody here at the Back Nine. All of our listeners, all of our partners. Yacht Rock Review tickets at 239-1070 right now for that September show downtown. Number 9 for Yacht Rock Review. Talk with you coming up tomorrow at 3. Have a great night.